playoff talks. We can talk Army Navy if you guys want. Some Patriots, the Celtics from last night, that insane Thursday night football game. We've got musings. We've got in or out. We also have Sara Civian at 7:20. If anybody wants to tune in for that, she will be on with us. As far as an opening take, I am not a coward. So I'm going to say this with my chest at the 6 o'clock hour when I think the most people are probably listening, and that is that I think the Patriots, I think they're going to lose this week. Man, you guys ate me alive for this in my mentions on the morning show this morning, and I'm sorry, but feeding into this from me before we got on the show, none other than Skaz sent me an article that Haley Steinfeld and Josh Allen have announced that they are expecting their first child together. You guys know I love the dad angle of gambling, so thank God I was already on the Bills. I think that gives the spread a point if you ask me. But it's not because I hate the Patriots that I felt this way prior to this news, even though you guys have ruined my adulthood and my childhood from a fan perspective. It's not that I think they're a bad team. They have kicked my ass all season long betting. They are the only team that's kicked my ass consistently betting this season. But I said this morning, Josh Allen in a revenge game, in division, in the month of December, still playing meaningful football. I can't bet against that. It's like when I felt the way that I did about the Super Bowl with the Chiefs and the Eagles last year, the reason I won money 2 Super Bowls ago was not fading Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, and I got doing the same thing in this past Super Bowl. And if I get got fading Patrick Mahomes or falling on the sword of Patrick Mahomes, fine, that's like not the worst way to go out. Is anybody really going to chirp you for that? And I know that I say it all the time, but I truly do love when the teams in town are good. It means that there's more money, more parties, people are happy, people are spending money. It's a fun time in town when the teams are good. I've lived here since 2018, and I've experienced 3 championships in those years. That's an insane thing to say. From someone who has never felt that joy about the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's fun. It's fun. I want to have fun. I want to party. I want to make money. And the Josh Allen thing, it's not just the smart play to me, but it's the profitable play to me. There has been so much chatter about the betting on this game this week. It's been crazy. And yes, I will get into that more tomorrow, but the biggest thing for me here is that the Patriots aren't going to win the Super Bowl this year. I know that some of you are going to hate that. I'm sure the phone lines are about to light up, 617-779-0985 if you would like to call in. Plenty of you were in my DMs earlier. I hope you do call in. I'm sure that some of you out there believe that they can or will, and that's great. From a fan perspective, that's how you're supposed to feel about your team every year if you're privileged enough to have a good team. They simply, in the postseason, are going to need more talent to compete. Great season. Hats off. Happy to eat my crow on their win total. I personally thought Tim McCone was insane at the beginning of the year for saying that this team was going to win as many games. I think his win total for them was 11. So hats off to Tim McCone. I thought he was absolutely insane. I think a lot of people around town did. Coach of the year, Mike Vrabel, no question for me, truly. But in the postseason, you need more talent. And for those of you who are going to be disappointed in how this MVP race is going to turn out, Matt Stafford is deserving, and they will lean into the Matt Stafford angle because of his age and his numbers in comparison to Drake May. I'm assuming if they continue to look the way they do in the postseason, that's probably how it's going to wind up turning out. It's just he's going to have the better numbers. He's older. They're going to lean towards Matt Stafford for that angle. And Drake May's time will come. If the Bills don't win a Super Bowl this year, they are never going to. And I know that's insane to say because this team has been pretty dang close the last couple of years. But this is a must-win game for them. The pressure is higher, not just from a standings perspective, because the AFC is an absolute dumpster fire, but also from like a team morale perspective. In the current picture of the playoffs, if the Bills win, they obviously prevent the Patriots from winning the division this weekend. If the Patriots win, they obviously win the division and secure that playoff spot. In order for Buffalo to win the division, They have to beat the Patriots and need other help in the conference, and they would have to win out, and Patriots lose 2 of their final 3. I don't think Buffalo wins this division, but it is tough sledding in the AFC as far as getting into the postseason right now, because we're seeing some AFC teams fall off, get injured. Look at the Colts. We'll talk about the Phillip Rivers thing later. Currently, Denver Broncos, number 1 seed, 11-2. Patriots, 11-2. Jacksonville Jaguars also in. Steelers in. Obviously, the TJ Watt thing today makes a difference. Chargers in. Buffalo Bills in. Houston Texans in. If I'm the Patriots, I'm probably not really scared of a ton of those teams. To be honest, in the postseason, I would be scared of probably the Texans. I agree with Zoe. The Texans are really on the come up, and I am, as a Jags fan, scared of the AFC South picture. I think that the Colts are honestly out of it, like everybody, and like everybody thinks at this point, obviously. The Bills have a regular season finale at home against the Jets, who are historically stupid in final games. If we recall the 2020 season when the Jets had the number 1 pick locked up in the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes, and all they had to do was lose their final game. That's all they had to do. Jags had the 3rd pick at that point. And what happened? Frank Gore walk-off touchdown at the end of the game. He could have just sat down. It was a long, immaculate run. I've watched it over and over and over again as a Jags fan. The clock would have run out if he just sat down. They would have lost that game, and instead he scores. They wind up with Zach Wilson, and the rest of that is history. Never, ever, ever, not even if there was a fire, would there be another opportunity for Josh Allen to potentially go into a postseason picture without Joe Burrow, without Lamar Jackson, and without Patrick Mahomes. There's a world where all 3 of those guys this season are eliminated. But I think you're still going to get Lamar. The Bengals and Steelers could do you some favors as far as if the Bills do beat you this weekend. Not to mention, if you do wind up playing Bo Nix or whomever, just in the postseason, they don't scare me anyway, because sure, they have a great defense and they've got a great coach, but you can look past them in a lot of these situations. If Buffalo is coming off of a massive win this week, morale win. They turned Joe Burrow over twice last weekend in crucial moments in weather to battle adversity for that win. You are in a world of trouble if they win this weekend, because massive, massive back-to-back morale wins. And I know someone is going to call in and yell at me about the Patriots got healthier during this bye week. Vrabel off the bye. I get it. I love a trend as much as the next person. But I don't think the Patriots have the experience and the continuity and just the ability to have that like fire just right there under your ass to pull the things that Josh Allen pulled out of his ass last weekend. Pause. I don't want to play Josh Allen in December in meaningful football. That's it. That's the angle for me. And I think that angle's enough. But we can dive a little further into this. I did go through and compare all of the position groups, all of the stats, all of that. If you want to call in and yell at me, you can feel free to. I know so many people were so mad at me this morning when I said this on Toucher and Hardy. I've seen people dragging Burt Breer for saying the exact same thing this morning too. Also, he's having a baby. How are you going to fade a man that just announced his wife having a baby to the world? The other thing about this was I don't know if there's any like pop culture fans out there. This is the Joe Murray Show, so I'm assuming that there are some pop culture fans out there. But she did a red carpet recently and wore a pretty baggy outfit, and people were spreading those rumors. And I'm never one to be like, oh, she looks XYZ, but the confirmation announcing a baby at Christmas time. Kind of like my entire face. I swear, if you are over 25, your Facebook feed around the holidays is just pregnancy announcements, engagements, or weddings. That's it. If you log into Facebook, I don't really log on to Facebook that often, except for to do some stuff for work. But that's all it is. during the holidays. I think I purposefully get on Facebook more during the holidays to see who is either not posting their family because that means that someone from home is getting a divorce or they're having a baby or they're getting married. That's all it is. I love the tea. I love the drama. If you guys want to call in and yell at me about the Patriots, feel free to do so. 617-779-0985. When we come back, we're going to dive a little bit further into the statistics of this Bills game coming up. You're listening to the Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe Murray.
What kind of Joe? My name's Kendra Joe. I feel like that kind of counts. With you until 10 p.m. from the Town Fair Tire Studio. I know we have a caller, but I can't pull up the call screen. Skaz, you want to help me out? The computers are being really slow. I'm sorry.
Yes, this is Josh in North Attleboro.
Josh, what's up, my man?
Hey, Kendra. Hey, I just wanted to, I'm not going to criticize you because I love listening to you on Saturday mornings. I think you're pretty much spot on most of the time, and honestly, no disrespect to Dan, but I think you're way better than Dan Listaff. But when you said that you were gonna bet the Colts, I faded you on that, and that turned. I just didn't know why you would bet on Daniel Jones on one leg. I thought that was kind of crazy. And with the Pats, I think there's a lot of good value personally to.
Well, I didn't bet on the Colts,
Patriots.
To be fair, in the Jags game.
You didn't?
No.
Oh, okay. So, all right. So you're on the same page with me. But,
I thought that it was gonna. I thought that the Jags could lose that game, but I didn't put money on them. No.
Oh, okay. Well, I just thought the Jags were gonna destroy them, and they did. I thought that spread was way off. And obviously, the Colts are a disaster. But I'm just interested to see, listen to you. Why do you think the Bills are gonna win?
Thanks for calling. I think I went into it not only this morning, but just in the last segment. It's the fact that they need it more. They want it more. Josh Allen's playing meaningful football in December. You beat Joe Burrow last week. I know that he turned the ball over twice, but that's impressive. It's a revenge game. I do think that there's obviously no weather advantage anywhere. It's cold in Buffalo. It's cold here. You could argue it's probably colder in Buffalo, honestly. So the only thing they're getting here is the home crowd advantage, which... I got to be honest, people are going to hate this, and people are going to continue to call in and yell at me. But as someone who's been to almost 20 NFL stadiums, I love you guys. You're mean as hell, but you are not loud. I love you guys. I love you, mean it. I pay taxes here. If I didn't love you guys, if I didn't love it here, I would not be spending this money in taxes. However, I don't think that it is the loudest top 10 places I've ever been.
No, I think that's more than fair. I think the design of the stadium has a little bit to do with that, with the open end zone. But yeah, I think this is a very losable game for the Patriots, as it is a very winnable game. But for me, it's Milton Williams, it's the run defense, it's James Cook. That's something that scares me as a Patriots fan. Exactly,
which is where I wanted to go with this. We don't have another caller, right? It's just circling for me.
We got Frank in Marshfield, if you want to take him.
Hi, Kendra. It's great to be talking. Hi. It's great to be talking meaningful playoff football.
It is.
I agree with you. Josh Allen in the Super Bowl, in the playoffs, very scary, and I think it's super motivating for him to have those two guys out of his way, Mahomes and Burrow. My other thought before I drop off is you said you weren't afraid of Denver, and I'm not afraid of Denver, the team, but I'd be more afraid of playing Denver in Denver. What do you think?
Yeah, obviously, thank you for the call, by the way, Frank. Obviously playing anybody anywhere that is not your home field in the postseason is super intense. And obviously when it's a good defense in particular with, a vetted coach, that's even a harder ask. And the altitude in Denver is something that you have to consider, but they don't scare me. Bo Nix has the same amount of experience, in deep playoff runs as Drake May, obviously, which is none. So the only thing that makes me nervous over there is the fact that Sean Payton has won a Super Bowl, so he knows what the grind is like getting through, a postseason run in the NFL. That's the only thing that makes them scary to me, is that in their defense. But I think the Patriots could beat Denver in a postseason situation. So at this point, I would take New England if it came down to Denver. So what I wanted to talk about, though, speaking of diving further into why I think the Bills will upset the Patriots this week, or whatever you want to call it. I know there's been a lot of conversation about favored versus not this week. However, before we went to break, I mentioned the nitty-gritty. We got some injury reports. The biggest thing for me here is that Joey Bosa is going to play. I think everybody expected him to play. That it's a divisional game. It's coming down to the wire. You guys like him have to and want to play in situations like this. the thing is that the Bills' remaining schedule is at the Browns, home versus Philly, and home versus the Jets after this weekend. Toradol Bosa kind of scares me even more for some reason. It's like, you know how when they do those like experiments on like rats where they give them stuff and they just go even more insane? I just feel like that's going to be the Joey Bosa experience we're going to get this weekend, which against an offensive line that's been injured, shuffled around, Vadarian Lowe, even if Joey Bosa is 50%, that's 50% more than you want to deal with. And to note, Joey Bosa is first in forced fumbles in the league, and the Patriots have a turnover machine at running back. And the depth at running back this week is not where you want it to be. The Bills have the number one rushing offense in the NFL. They led the league in both rush yards. They lead the league in both rush yards per game and yards per rush. They have 157.8 yards per game and 5.1 yards per rush. Patriots obviously do have a top 10 defense. They're third in rush yards allowed per game at 89.5 and 10th in yards allowed per rush at 4. That helps a ton in this situation. As far as pass defense goes, the Bills average 163 yards allowed per game. Pats allow 207. Josh Allen is going to have to use his arm to win this game, and I don't think that that's the position that you want Josh Allen to be in. Kincaid is back. The Keon Coleman situation in particular is rather interesting. I know that he missed a game or sat out of a game because he missed a meeting or something like that. The question mark around like the whole Keon Coleman experiment has been interesting because when you listen to him speak in press conferences, he doesn't seem like the type of player to me who would have attendance issues. He comes across as dedicated. He comes across as, like a team guy, but apparently that's not the case with him. So his whole situation this season has been confusing to me. If you have him in fantasy football, I can't even imagine how you feel. I don't know what's going on with him. The other thing, you still have Khalil Shakir, okay? If we're going to break it down position by position, quarterback, I know that we love Drake May. I know, I get it, you guys. You found Tom Brady 2.0. Congratulations. I'm so happy. I'm so happy for you guys. I'm so happy. I love the Drake. Oh, me sitting here with Trevor Lawrence. Like, I'm just scratching.
Hey, Jaguars are in the playoffs.
Right now.
That's all you can ask for, right?
They
got an easy matchup this weekend. It's not like they've struggled with backup quarterbacks in the past.
But this is the backup's backup.
So it's a double negative here?
Yeah, that's what Twitter has come to the conclusion of, which you sent that in our Slack, and if we lose to the third or fourth string?
I don't even know the guy's name, and I read it like 20 minutes ago. Cook?
Yeah, Brady Cook.
You can't lose to Brady Cook.
No, the only Brady I'll accept losing to is Tom in this house, okay? So, quarterback, actually, let's do an experiment, you guys. Quarterback, I know we love Drake May. He's amazing. He's incredible. He's had a coming out season. Congrats, New England. Whatever. Would you right now, one game, take Josh Allen or Drake May? Must win game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still leaning Josh Allen in that situation.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm a massive Drake May fan. I think he's been incredible this year, but Josh Allen's been there. And I'm kind of with you on the thing that this is Josh Allen's best shot. Like, no Mahomes, no Lamar, no Burrow. Like, this is as wide as the AFC has been in recent memory. And if Josh Allen and the Bills can't capitalize on this opportunity, you do have to wonder if they're ever going to capitalize.
I think the youth or the olds, I'm not really sure which one, is really more so calling it parody in the NFL. You can just say everybody sucks. Like, just say everybody's bad. There's no big bad wolf. There's no Kansas City Chiefs. There's no New England Patriots. There's none of this crap. Like, the league, the product is down. Is it entertaining as hell? Because you literally have no idea what's going to happen at any... Look at last night's game. Kirk Cousins is the Tampa Bay Bucks absolute nightmare. And I have to be honest, I'll get back to this breakdown in a second. Watching Bucks Twitter have a meltdown about Liam Cohen. There we go. It's a local tie. It's Liam Cohen. We can talk about the Jags.
Yeah, local guy.
Watching Bucks Twitter be like, we let this guy walk. We're gonna regret this for the rest of forever. And I'm like, you guys were so evil to him when that happened.
They were.
His kid was in the hospital, and you guys were just you guys suck. Bucks fans out.
Yeah,
Out.
and before they lost Cohen, they lost Canales too. And not that he's been great in Carolina, but they've shown signs of promise too. And now the Bucks are sitting there with Todd Bowles, who it feels like they're going to move on from. And now where do they go from there?
Yeah. All right, receiver. Back to this whole situation. If you pull up the stat leaders at receiver through 14 weeks, the first player on either of these teams to pop up, you would guess correctly, is Stephon Diggs. He, to me, and I think most of you, is the best receiver on both rosters. Would we agree about that? I think so. We obviously get to add the revenge factor for him into these matchups as well. The Bills don't have a receiver in the top 50 until Dalton Kincaid, who, yes, receiving role, tight end, sits at 59, and Hunter Henry at 39. Once again, didn't want to include him just because we wanted like that true receiver position, but that's where those two fall. Give me the tight ends for the Bills, but give me the receivers for the Patriots. Two-headed monster for them with Knox and Kincaid. Henry is an amazing security blanket pass catcher, but I think we are watching him revert back to his role early in the season of having to make up on the offensive line instead of focusing on pass catching. I think that's just where we're going to wind up this weekend, is kind of that reverted role. And the big thing about Drake May for me, the reason I think that we saw his coming out party, and we're going to do this exercise again later because we did it on Saturday and didn't have enough time to kind of talk about it as much as I wanted to. But McDaniels has been just an absolute blessing to this team. And I am convinced that the reason it took Drake May a couple weeks at the beginning of the season was because Josh McDaniels' system is notoriously difficult to learn. And so for a young guy to come in, learn a new system, it's probably going to take him a couple weeks. And I think that once he got it, you really saw that switch in like week 4 or 5 was where it started to finally connect for him. So you got to give the guy his flowers.
And just to kind of add on to that point, like it wasn't just Drake May that was adjusting either. It was the entire offense.
Yeah.
Like Steph Diggs was new. Mac Hollins was new. Like this was kind of a complete overhaul for an offense that, desperately needed it. And now we're, 15 weeks in and they're sitting atop the AFC. And now this is easily Josh McDaniels' biggest test since being back. And I'm kind of excited to see what is the game plan when it really matters. Because this game matters for both teams. The Bills obviously more desperately, but Josh McDaniels should have something up his sleeve in this game.
Yeah. Offensive line, give me the Bills because of the shuffle and the injuries for New England. Special teams, give me the Patriots. I'm a Marcus Jones truther. And defense, other than the pass rush, give me the Patriots. So I know that kind of brings it down to a tie, but if you tally them up, my main takeaway is December, give me the proven quarterback. That's all I got to say. I know we got to get to some headlines here. When we come back, I want to talk some college football playoffs. I've got some spicy takes for you guys. If you want to get in on the show, 617-779-0985. You're listening to the Sports Hub.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
All right. Recently fired. Oh, Skaz, I hate this song. I hate this song. It's ladies' night here on the Joe Show. No Joe, just Kendra Middleton here with you all until 10 p.m. You can blame Jim Wealth for letting me close the night with you guys and then open it again tomorrow morning. It's my literal dream to do. I love mornings here on Saturdays because you guys, it's just the little community is so good. Joe's community also rocks. I love the YouTube chat for Joe's listeners. They're always so nice. They send me such nice things. So I did tease before we went to break that I wanted to talk about some college football stuff, but we do have a call here. Mark wants to talk about Josh Allen. Mark, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I just want to talk about good. I think there's a lot of building up about the Bills and Josh Allen's playoff, contention here. He's seasoned, but looking at this track record, he's 7-6. That's batting just above 500, so he's sitting like a 50-50 chance to win these playoff games. He's 0 for 2 in big, must-win games to go to the Super Bowl. I mean, I'm just not seeing it. And, you're talking about Patriots and, their playoff hopes have not enough star power. I mean, star power on the Bills, if you're comparing them to apples, I mean, like I just said, you have Josh Allen, you're talking about, he's MVP caliber, obviously. But, in big games, 7-6 playoff record, over 2 trying to get to the Super Bowl. Comparing that to star power, I think Drake May is the hottest star right now in the league.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Mark. So I appreciate it. I did not mean to hang up on you that abruptly, but I knew where you were going with this point. I will say that just goes back to my original speaking point is, yeah, that's a great statistical point, but Josh Allen through his career has had to go through Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, or Patrick Mahomes. So yeah, I would expect him to probably be 500 against guys of those caliber. It's not like we're sitting here and you're going through the playoff picture that you're about to get. That's why I'm more worried about this version of Josh Allen that we could potentially see right now, is because I know, he knows that this is the easiest path you're ever going to get, especially because, like I mentioned earlier, not only do you have to get through those guys in the AFC, but now you have to worry about getting through Drake May in your own division. So it's never going to be any easier than it is for him right now. The star power thing, we can talk about it all you want. I would say that there is not a player on the Patriots outside of Drake May that compares to Joey Bosa. Would you guys all agree with that? Talk about star power.
Milton Williams is their best defensive player, but he's not like a household name
Christian
or anything.
Gonzalez, I'll give you, the kids love Christian Gonzalez, but he's not Joey Bosa. The Bosas are, if you are a football household or even a semi-sports household, you know who the Bosas are. You know who Josh Allen is. People know who Drake May is because he's endearing. The Patriots are fun. They're America's sweetheart right now, which is insane to say because people have hated them for a decade and a half. But Michael May, cheers to you. You made people like the Patriots. Holy cannoli, the thing we never thought anybody could do. You turned the big bad wolf into the Bakemas. So, yeah, I'll give her flowers. The other thing, since we're on the Michael May topic, people up here not understanding the double name thing is so funny to me. It's so whatever, I don't know if I can say ass clown, but whatever ass clown went absolutely rampant about, well, why doesn't she introduce herself as Ann Michael May? Is she embarrassed by her last name? Why does she introduce herself as Ann Michael? Duh. Tell me you've never been to a debutante ball without telling me you've never been to a debutante ball, okay? Down south, I'm Kendra Joe. To my grandmother, I am Kendra Joe. To, you guys, I'm Kendra. But down south, I'm Kendra Joe. She is Ann Michael. That is just the people who were up in arms about her being embarrassed about the last name. Give me a break. Let the girl bake her cookies for the love of all that is holy. Oh, my God.
Yeah, as someone who's one of my best friends, went to school down south, been on numerous golf trips with his school buddies. It's John Michael. It's there's a bunch of that's just how that's literally their names. They don't have a first and middle name. They just have 2 first names, basically.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it goes. That's exact. So I was a twin. I ate my twin, which slay. My brother used to joke that there wasn't enough space in the world for both of us. But if we were 2 girls, we were Kendra and Kelsey, Kendra Joe and Kendra Ann, and that's how we were to be addressed. And if we were a girl and a boy, we were going to be Tabitha Joe, and I was going to go by Tabby Joe, and they were going to be Trip. And if it was just me, my parents were going to name me Veronica. But instead, Kenneth and Deidre had Kendra. And now I'm Kendra Joe.
I think it worked out for you.
Yeah, I could you imagine if my name was Tabitha?
You don't really strike me as a Tabitha, if I'm going to be honest.
I don't give Tabby energy.
I don't think so.
I genuinely think Kendra does fit me, but I would not have been upset with Veronica. Veronica would have been okay.
That's like an Adam Sandler girlfriend right there. Like
yeah,
all
like
of
90s rom-com.
Yes, yeah. They're all V's, yeah.
Did you almost have another name?
I was almost Dominic Anthony.
That
the most
is
Italian.
so Italian.
The most Italian ever. And then my mom stepped in at the last minute and said, James John's fine. Let's do that instead. Dominic Anthony's a little heavy-handed.
I don't know. Roman Anthony, you could have been what could have been Skaz.
Dom Anthony? Yeah, I don't know. I don't really feel like a Dominic.
That's a porn name.
Yeah.
That is that's like a side of the internet that I think that few people
It's like
really
a Sopranos
want to
extra or something. Yeah.
Oh man, that's so funny. Okay. Anyways, I wish Barth was here, but we do have a morning show coming up with Barth. So maybe we can fit some college football chatter with Barth in there. But until then, it's just me. I think he's on with me and Matt next week sometime. I think. Anyways, nobody asked. But I'm going to give you my thoughts on the college football playoffs and the committee's decision, okay? Because I don't think that there's been enough chat about this for my liking on this station this week, and I'll get into why I believe that. Notre Dame, Peter, if you're listening, I love you. If you guys don't know who Peter is, he's one of the loyal listeners on Saturday who's a diehard Notre Dame fan, and he calls into my show all the time. He gave Lifshatz so much crap one day that it was just beyond iconic. But they need to join a conference. That's, at this point, not a spicy take. People have been saying this to them for so long, but the committee really put the hammer down and said, join a conference. You can make the joke that they play in the ACC, but you don't get to play the schedule you do, sit on your ass during conference weekend, and then complain about it when you aren't respected. You lost to Miami and Texas A&M to start your season, and then won out against absolute nobodies. The only other ranked teams you played were USC, who struggled at times in big spots, and Pitt, who, no offense, but who cares? Join a conference and don't lose to the only two teams worth a crap that you play. What kind of argument does that present to anybody to respect you? I am so glad that for the first time since I don't even know when in the sports world, it's been a minute, you can tell me the since when that you come up with if you so choose, that we collectively held hands together to hate so much on one thing as a sports community like we hated on Notre Dame last week. What a time to be a sports fan. I was shocked Alabama got in. I don't think they deserve to after the SEC championship, and the only two reasons that they left them in are, one, the committee has a hard-on for the SEC, as they should. As an SEC truther, fine, I'll let you have it. And the fact that Alabama is their darling and it makes them money. Two, the committee emphasized that losing in your conference championship wouldn't influence your fate in the playoff, so they had to let Alabama in if people were going to believe that. However, if you believe Ohio State and Indiana flip-flopping doesn't have anything to do with that conference championship outcome, you are insane. Next, James Madison and Tulane shouldn't be in the playoffs. Can we give them the Pop-Tart Bowl? And I'm so serious. It's the People's Championship. The Pop-Tart Bowl becomes the G5 championship game. Is anybody opposed to that? I don't think so. I love the Pop-Tart Bowl. Make it the G5 championship game. I understand why the committee did this, but that doesn't make it right. And I think the rule of conference championship winners and whatever will change, or it's going to go to 16 or something, but whatever, something's got to give if we're going to, keep putting lesser schools in here. But I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, who wants to watch a team favored by 21.5 points in the playoffs? Does anybody want to watch that? Is that entertaining to anybody? Does that feel like playoff football to you? And yes, that's what Oregon is currently favored over JMU. I don't think I don't know if this total or Ole Miss can be high enough, but I'm going to circle back on those next Friday and Saturday before those games. Ole Miss currently 17.5. I would like to point out that I know New Englanders don't love college football. But y'all do love good football. Very, very smart fan bases up here. You guys know ball, undeniably. And as nerdy as y'all are up here, I have to recommend not just watching these games for entertainment and for good football, but because if you gamble on the draft or if you want to start thinking ahead and sound competent before the draft season comes, watch these games. These are the games to watch. If you want to call in during what's the segment they do with the markers and the whiteboard with the magazine, if you want to call in and have ammunition against Felger and Maz for whiteboard season.
Yes, whiteboard, the whiteboard.
If you want to, kick it with Alex Barth, watch these games. These are the guys that the NFL is scouting, that the NFL is looking at the most. Watch these games. As far as sleepers go, Oregon's side of the bracket is the easiest to get to the Peach Bowl. If they can get up on JMU and bench some people, stay healthy, they could catch an overrated sleepy Texas Tech team. They absolutely could. The most overrated team in the playoff is Texas Tech. I mentioned that I know the people up here aren't that into the college game, but keep in mind this season was so insanely bizarre. So when I tell you that Texas Tech's best win this year was BYU, which fine, BYU was legit. They got absolutely manhandled in their last game of the year, and my mind completely changed about who I thought BYU was. They never would have lasted under the pressure of the playoff. Texas Tech beat Utah, who's not the Utah that they've been the last few seasons. And they beat Houston, who, yes, ranked, but Houston's a basketball school. Let's call it what it is. Let's call a spade a spade. Absolute basketball school. Oregon, I know the answer here. Oregon's my favorite sleeper in the entire postseason. The entire postseason. I know the answer here is how injured they are. But despite those injuries, they are 11-1, and the only loss they have this year is to Indiana. Oregon's best receivers are obviously in question. But do they even need to play them in this game? No disrespect. I am being so serious. They are set to come back at some point. Sit them against JMU. You don't need them. Watch out for Oregon. The other team I would like to tell people to watch out for, this Ole Miss team, it's a rematch with Tulane for them, who Ole Miss won 45-10 in the first matchup of the season. And when they win again, I think it's probably with the number. People are obviously going to look ahead or are already looking at that Georgia rematch. Georgia at home beat Ole Miss 43-35. This is going to be neutral field in the Saints Stadium, I think. What is the Saints Stadium? Is that Caesar Superdome? Is that what it is?
That sounds right.
I think that's what it is. I could see Georgia fans having fatigue and all of this, this loss to Texas or to Georgia earlier in the season came pre-Lane Kiffin firing. Depending on the number, I really might be chasing Ole Miss. Seriously, I might. Georgia hasn't been the same this season. Obviously, Ole Miss fired their coach. I love the fired coach angle. The original loss to Georgia for Ole Miss was in the thick of their season schedule. I think Oregon and Ole Miss are your best long shot chances at chasing somebody through the playoffs just from the angle that Ole Miss has and the side of the bracket that Oregon's going to have to go through. This bracket is kind of insane to me. I don't really have faith in Ohio State anymore. I feel like someone took them out back and shot their puppy. I feel like that's that's how I feel with what's going on with this team right now. Yes, they had a big win, but they have not looked like world beaters in the last couple of weeks. Indiana, wow, am I impressed. If you would have told me last year at this time, I would have been like, yeah, Indiana's going to be good. Did I think that they're going to be the number one team heading into the playoffs? No. Are we joking? Talk about America's sweetheart and Michael May and Indiana. Can you, what a difference a year makes. I never would have thought I would.
Are you in or out on Mendoza?
He is so weird that I'm kind of in. I love a weird person.
I think that was kind of Joe Murray's take as well, where it's almost endearing how genuine it is. He's so weird. I kind of love him, and the way that he screams, Did you see his interview? Yes, very visceral.
He's kind of my king. I kind of love him. Was it a Giants beat reporter that was saying that they were gonna trade Jackson Dart and draft him? I was like, what kind of conversation are we even having right now? Jackson Dart's the man. But anyways, those are my college football takes that absolutely nobody asked for. I just thought that I had the time to talk about it, so why not? We're hanging out with you till 10 o'clock here. We're going to hit a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk about the biggest stories in sports this week before we get to Sara Civ at 7:20. So if you want to get in on today's show, 617-779-0985. You're listening to the Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray.
Charges. Prosecutors charged him with third-degree home invasion and a misdemeanor stalking charge and a misdemeanor breaking and entering charge. The Patriots had 2 injury designations. Robert Spillane listed as questionable, and Terrell Jennings is out for Sunday's game versus the Bills. For Buffalo, they listed Joey Bosa and Terrell Bernard as good to go. And TJ Watt had surgery for a collapsed lung yesterday and is out for this week's game against the Dolphins. The Celtics were losers to the Milwaukee Bucks last night, 116-101 after a third-quarter collapse from the green. They're off until Monday when they play the Pistons. And the Bruins got Charlie McAvoy back last night against the Jets, where they won 6-3. Pasta with 2 goals for the Bees in the win, and they're off until Sunday when they take on the Minnesota Wild. Sports Hub headlines were presented by Celsius Energy Drinks. Refresh your energy with zero sugar, essential vitamins, and proven ingredients. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub, Boston's home for sports. I'm Kendra Middleton, and your next update is in about 30 minutes.
If you've got the app, you've got Toucher and Hardy to wake you up no matter where you are.
Or who may or may not have been to jail.
Get the app. The 98.5 The Sports Hub app.
And back with you tomorrow morning to open the station for the Over Under Show. Before the break, I said that I wanted to talk about some of the biggest news stories this week before we got into our chat with Sara Civian coming up at 7:20, because I honestly can't remember a week this dramatic since, maybe last year's NBA trade deadline. That was probably the most dramatic thing in recent memory, but we do have a couple callers. Let's get to Justin in Lynn. Justin.
Hey, Kendra, it's Justin. I just had a thought on the Patriots defense against the Buffalo Bills running game. Just your thoughts on that?
Okay, yeah. Thanks for calling, Justin. I do think that the Patriots defense is probably going to have to really step up. They're going to have to be the game winners. I don't think it's going to be Drake May, because that's who you game plan for, right? That's who you're talking about all week, is this, coming out party that Drake May's had, the deep ball that he has, the connection that he's had with Stephon Diggs this year, how he's elevated his receivers in ways that, really good quarterbacks over time have done. So I think that this week the Patriots defense is going to have to win the game for them. They're going to have to turn over Josh Allen at least once, and I think that that's going to be the deciding factor, is this Patriots defense. Next up, we got Jake, who wants to talk about the college football playoff. What's up, Jake?
Hey, Kendra. Yeah, so a couple things. First off, I'm a Ducks fan, so thank you for the shout-out. I appreciate it. But as a Ducks fan, I was very disappointed to see that we were playing JMU in the first round. Kind of would have liked a little bit. I mean, obviously, if this could end up being a really bad take, but if it goes south, but would have liked to see a team like Vanderbilt in the first round. However, last year, all 4 teams that had the bye ended up losing. It's almost like they shouldn't have given all the college kids 30-plus days during the holidays to take off and then play the biggest game of the year. So just curious to see, out of the 4 teams this year, who you think is going to come out with a win.
Yeah, fair enough. I think that's kind of a crazy take. I'm trying to drop him, but it won't let me. Oh, there the lights go, and it dropped him. If you're watching on YouTube, you just saw them turn the Felger and Maz lights off at 7:05. So thank you to anybody at NBC Sports Boston who just did this. I can truly turn into just a shadow in the studio now. As far as, I think that that's a crazy take, because 3 of Oregon's biggest offensive weapons, 2 of them are out on injury and expected to play at some point in the college football season, and then one of them got hurt. I think it was preseason or early in the season. I don't remember which one it was, but he's also possibly available to come back. I think that it helps them that this is who they drew, because I think that they're going to be able, like I said, to get up big and probably keep some people healthy, probably get some rest on people who, if you pulled a Vanderbilt, you'd have to play for 4 quarters. You know what I mean? I think that this honestly is going to be like that college football playoff championship game we saw with TCU versus Georgia, right? Like, I think that they're absolutely just going to blow doors in the first half and be able to coast. So I think truly Oregon got the best draw out of all of this that they could. I would not want to play Vanderbilt. Diego Pavia is the most annoying human to ever exist. That guy is a loser. Like, I'm a nobody, I'm a loser, but at least I'm like a nobody loser.
He had to really work to take the role of the Patrick Mahomes impersonator as well. Is
Dylan
that Dylan
Raiola?
Yes. And now it seems like the kid from Vanderbilt is kind of taken the crown from him, which is impressive, I would say.
It's so insane. But here, the thing about this too is that Everybody's been making memes about the atmosphere at the cities that these games are going to be hosted in. Alabama, Oklahoma, absolute just redneck. How much do you dip? How redneck country are you off? Tulane and Ole Miss, just a rematch of a team without a coach, two teams without a coach, but one of them's at least still around. And then Miami and Texas, A&M, the cocaine kids versus the nerds, insane. And then you get to JMU and Oregon, and it's just like, wait, do you know where I can buy pot around? Like, literally, that's the matchup that we're about to get. Like, what an insane combination of teams that we're watching here. What just an insane time to be a college football fan. All right, now is this Cal in Arizona? What's up, Cal?
Hey, Kendra, first time, long time. Appreciate it. I just heard your take about college football playoff. And I don't know, this is a conversation that me and my brother and my dad have in a group chat all the time. But it's like, right, we're always going to have this argument about the football playoff, just like we're always going to have this argument about March Madness, right? They keep giving more teams. So football playoff, right? 2 years ago, they had 4 teams, and everyone complained about the 5 seed and the 6 seed that didn't get in. And now we're complaining about, the 13 seed and the 14 seed that didn't get in. We're complaining about Tulane and James Madison not getting or getting a bid while like Notre Dame doesn't. But to your point exactly, Notre Dame joined a conference, ACC, Virginia didn't take care of business. They weren't in the top 12 anyway. But the point is, right, is like, are we trying to get the 12 best teams, or are we trying to get the 12 most deserving teams? Because Tulane and James Madison took care of business, and yeah, they're not in the Power 4, but they're still in the FBS. And we've seen teams like Boise State beat Oklahoma, and we've seen teams like UCF beat Georgia in these bowl games and go undefeated. And back in the day, Urban Meyer's Utah Utes. So it's like these little guys can make
Urban
noise.
Meyer, I'm triggered.
I'm sorry. I know I'm long-winded, but right, like these, like we're always going to have an argument. There's never a perfect system. And frankly, 10 of the 12 big boys are in the dance, where previously 6 of them wouldn't even have an argument, right? They'd be out.
So would you rather watch an Oregon team who's favored by 21.5 points over someone like JMU, or would you rather watch, Oregon Notre Dame?
So I'd rather watch Oregon Notre Dame. However, I'm someone that played football, and if they're if they're truly both in the FBS, I think JMU deserves it more, and that's my point.
Yeah, I get. Thanks for the call. I really appreciate it. I think that the deserving angle is, definitely something to look at. But inevitably, we're going to get a 16-team playoff, not because you, me, and your mom are standing here screaming at each other about who deserved to get in, who earned to be in, who's the better team, who we'd rather watch, whatever. It's going to be about one thing and one thing only. And I'll let you guess what that one thing is going to be. Money. That's it. It's going to be, if we expand this to 16 teams, how much more can we profit? It's not going to be better for the athletes. It's not going to be that much different for the consumer. It's going to be, we can make more, hats for championship, whatever. We can make more T-shirts. We can, work with more NFL stadiums. That's all that this is going to be. It's not that we need to watch 16 different teams play through a bracket to decide who's best. I think, honestly, 8's enough. But here we are having this conversation, and us arguing whether it's someone who's deserving or someone who's better, who took care of business, what have you. That conversation at the end of the day is going to benefit them in the fact that it gives them more ammunition to expand the playoff to make more money. That's exactly what this comes down to. And quite honestly, nothing else. I did tease that I wanted to get into some of the biggest headlines of the week before we went to break. We do have Sara Civian coming up at 7:20, but we only have, maybe 3 minutes here, Skaz? I'll give you guys, since we're talking about college football, let's talk about the Sharon Moore thing, because there's not a ton to say about this, because we obviously want to be sensitive, and we can get back to everything else in a minute. This situation after his arraignment today, and all of the news that came out late yesterday, and I don't blame people for not wanting to talk about this throughout the week, except for Big Jim, because he's like me. He'll go at whatever he thinks is, deserves a stab. But what a back-to-back scandal scenario Michigan has here. This needs to be studied, honestly. The cheating scandal on cheating scandal, so insane. But I want to talk about it because obviously not only is it a huge story, but so many people have been, locally have ties to Michigan because of Brady. And I think we all have some things to learn from this situation. First of all, if you're the type blaming the girl, I need you to take a long look in the mirror and really think about that again. Blaming the woman and not the man in power is the absolute last thing you should do. Adam Schefter coming out here and saying that we don't have, his side. I don't know. He held the girl at knife point and broke into her house. Do we really need his side? Even if there were a woman in power and a man getting taken advantage of, I don't think that that's the thing you say. It's no matter what, that's not what you say. The second thing here, keep it in your pants at work, especially when it is your subordinate. When in the history of ever has that worked out for someone? I mean, seriously, it's the number one rule at work, and it's the easiest one to follow. It's the easiest one to follow. Like, blaming this girl would be like blaming Monica Lewinsky. Do you think Monica Lewinsky, it's the same? No, we're not going to do that. And lastly, if neither of these points resonated with you, don't risk your home for a night in a hotel. I'm going to say that again. Don't risk your home for a night in a hotel. Could you imagine figuring this out during the holidays with 3 kids at home? And we got an absolute news bomb last night that apparently this was the 3rd time that the school had investigated him for inappropriate behavior with subordinates. We seriously, as a collective, as a society, as people, as whatever, need to take some sort of lesson away from this. And whether that's, don't wreck your home, don't sleep with your coworkers, or, I don't know, don't hold a girl at knife point. We can all learn something here. We can kumbaya in this moment. We can hold hands and sing songs and agree about that.
I think that all seems pretty reasonable to me. I don't think you're asking for too much there.
I think we're doing all right. When we get back, we're going to talk to Sara Civian. She's going to talk to us about the Bruins and Olympics preview. If you want to call into tonight's show, 617-779-0985. You are listening to the Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5. winning today. On the Sports Hub.
Welcome back to the Joe Show. No Joe Murray, just Kendra Joe here with you until 10 o'clock tonight, taking over for Joe Murray. If you want to get, yes, thank you, Skaz. I needed Cool in the Gang to bring in Sara Civ. If you don't know her, Sara Civian of the Civ Report on Substack. What's up, Diva?
Kendra, oh my goodness, we finally get to talk on the radio. This is a moment.
I'm so excited to have you. How you been? How's your holiday season?
I'm great now. Holiday season great. Got a December birthday. You know how that goes. So just kind of a whirlwind of the past few weeks, but gearing up for Christmas. How about you?
What's it like having a December birthday? Because my nephew is almost a Christmas baby, and then two of my best friends are also Christmas babies. Like, do your gifts just all come in one lump sum? Like, do you like that or do you hate it?
Well, honestly, I think my friends and family have always been really good at differentiating it, probably because I give them a hard time. So I think people have got it down at this point, but I kind of like more of a celebration experience than a gift anyway, so it works out for me.
Totally. I'm the same way. I feel like once your frontal lobe develops, you're like, I want to do something. I don't really care about the material goods. So get me something we can do together type of thing. So I love that. I'm also great. Holidays are good here. I texted you yesterday that I wanted to have you on to talk about the Bruins. Obviously, Charlie McAvoy came back. Them surviving such a stretch of injuries to stay above 500, getting production on, Swayman's night off from Korpisalo the other night. The young guys are contributing. What are your big takeaways for the Bruins this season?
Yeah, I mean, for me, in a weird way, it's like shows how good, I mean, not in a weird way, but just how good David Pastrnak just truly is and how much better he makes the teammates around him. And of course, Morgan Geekie too. That's been a revelation. He's 2 back for the league lead in goals. Like, who would have thunk that? So just obviously doing it without McAvoy is huge too. And then he comes back and immediately makes an impact, shows how much of a important facet of this team he is. But at the same time, I don't know, like the Atlantic has been so weird this season that it's like the Bruins have really seized that opportunity to they've been allowed to make some mistakes and still be number 2.
Totally. I think the most impressive thing outside of Morgan Geekie for me this season is just the fight that the Bruins have had. It's so easy for teams when their 2 best players go down or they're battling all of this adversity, new coach, to just kind of give up. But I think that that's the opposite of what this Bruins team, I mean, they fight to the final whistle. I know that they've had some penalty, troubles, but what do you expect from this team kind of long-term looking ahead? Maybe if they can stay healthy. I want to talk about the Olympics in a second, and obviously, that's going to change the health of some teams, some players, and some of their trajectories. But as of right now, currently constructed, what are your expectations for the Bruins? What would you be happy with if they ended up with, would it be, just making the playoffs? Would it be winning a playoff series? What would that mean for you?
Well, I'm really curious to see what Don Sweeney's going to do at the trade deadline. Like, is he going to stick to his guns when it comes to trading players away? Or is he like, all right, we actually have something special here? I think you bring up the penalties. That kind of shows how this has been a win by committee thing where it hasn't been perfect and a rough start to the season, to say the least. But then when I see the trajectory of the team and the way the identity's forming, I think, first of all, new coaching hire was an amazing choice, right? Like, you can see these guys are playing for him. And I think, I want to see what happens at the trade deadline, but I'm having a hard time thinking that Sweeney's going to make big moves because it does seem to be an opportunity here in the Atlantic with how much of a mess other teams have been, honestly, and how they're kind of getting it together. But I would see the playoffs in their future, especially if Swayman keeps it up.
Yeah, I want to talk about the East, too, in a second, specifically the Atlantic and the Metropolitan and just kind of how weird that's been. But do you think that this team, considering the fact that both Pastrnak and McAvoy missed significant time, and I'm honestly just so beyond impressed that McAvoy's even back at this point, do you expect that to kind of maybe force management to make some moves at the trade deadline? Because I think that if they don't, fans are going to be really upset.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a fascinating thing to watch because you come out of what the Bruins had done for the past 15 years almost, where it's just kind of get a player to play now, win now mode. And now they're kind of in a limbo where like they want to still build draft capital, and it's possible to do that, to also build draft capital, move things around where you're also still winning and maybe have, like, I don't know. I'm excited to see what Sweeney could do. I do anticipate some moves, right? Like I think there's going to have to be things moving around, like you said, with McAvoy coming back. So I'm so curious because free agency in general last offseason was terrible. Like there weren't a lot of players to choose from. You had the Mitch Marner situation, and even that was a trade. So I'm expecting a big trade deadline from the entire league because a lot of teams need to make moves.
Yeah, because I personally thought that the Bolts were probably going to have a little bit of fall off after that generational run they went on. They haven't really, they're leading the Atlantic right now. And you've got the Wings kind of pretty much almost even with the Bruins. I didn't expect that either. And then you look over at the Metropolitan, I expected the Canes to be good. The Caps I thought were getting old, still out there competing. And then you have the Islanders. What an insane time. Who do you think is the most likely to have a big trade deadline out of those top contenders and probably just maybe sit still?
Yeah, I think it's going to be the Red Wings because Quinn Hughes may be available and they desperately need more defense and they need more depth. I think the Red Wings are the team that explicitly needs the most when it comes to, they could use a different goaltender. I know they got Gibson, but it hasn't exactly panned out yet. They need more structure to their defense, and Quinn Hughes may be available. So that'd be interesting to see. But I don't think the Bruins are going to do anything terribly drastic because they're showing they have a pretty complete team all around right now. The data is rolling in, and I like the way that they have improved on the season.
Yeah. Before we get into the Olympics, who is your Stanley Cup sleeper right now? Kind of a long shot, somebody you think, regardless of the trade deadline, if they got better or not, who right now would be one, I guess, your Stanley Cup favorite, and then a sleeper?
The favorite, it's one of the only things, the two things that I know about this NHL season right now is that the Avs are absolutely beastly and that the Sabres are bad. So, the Avs are just the far and away favorite right now. I don't know if the Stars would be a sleeper, but they have been quietly creeping up on the Avs, and the Avs have just kind of been dominant from start to finish. Now, the Stars are getting healthier, except Sagan, and they've kind of shown Robertson going to be Team USA, if you ask me. So I think they're definitely a team we always keep our eye on them, but they might be able to finally transcend and make it to the final.
Yeah, I like the Dallas pick. I had them in a future last year to win the Stanley Cup. Obviously, that didn't work out. Does Jake Ottinger and kind of his I don't know what else to call it other than a little bit of a struggle he's had this season. Obviously, he was a Hockey East kid, paid a lot of attention to him when he was up here. But does that concern you at all?
Yeah, it does. I mean, I've always wanted to see a bigger breakup from him when it comes to the playoffs. But, he's been such a strong performer in the regular season. So maybe it's a vice versa situation now where he'll lock in for the playoffs. I guess we'll find out. But that's one of their biggest strengths. And they haven't been able to get to the final even with that. So I'm just that's crucial. And you got to keep an eye out on him.
All right. So speaking of goaltending, obviously the conversation around Team USA's goaltender has been heating up a little bit lately with everything Jeremy Swayman's got going on. What do you expect from Team USA in the Olympics? What do you expect from the Olympics in general as far as hockey goes? What are you excited about?
Yeah, let's see if they have the ice, right? What the heck is happening with that situation? I think if they get the ice working, it's just ridiculous, The Office, Michael Scott levels of situations happening. But I have been thinking Swayman should be the guy. I mean, I think he's been the most sturdy and reliable of the past few years when it comes to the options right now. I mean, obviously you look to Hellebuck, but I don't think Four Nations certainly wasn't his fault, but it wasn't his solution either. And then you're kind of just looking at how he performs in clutch games. And I hate to say it because it's so hard to evaluate the goaltender position and people are so hard on them. But I just don't know if he has kind of the clutch big game thing. And I think that's fair to say at this point.
Yeah, that's super fair. What do you expect, another rematch of the Four Nations at any point? Like, what are you expecting as far as a run from Team USA here? Do you expect them to dominate? Who's your sleeper once again? Do you have a favorite?
I mean, first of all, I think Canada's just going to be absolutely stacked this year. And I hate to say that too, but it's like you got Celebrini, Bedard, Schaefer, all new faces that are coming in. So I'm not expecting much from Team USA. I mean, I hate to be a hater, right? But at the same time, you just look at the Canadian potential there and you're just like, maybe their goaltending situation with Binnington is actually worse. So I guess we have that going for us for Team USA. We got the whole, if McAvoy makes it, his father-in-law would be his coach. So that would be fun. Little twist. Maybe some motivation there. Yeah.
That would be fun. All right. I have expectations from Team USA in the Olympics. That might be silly of me, but after Four Nations, I need them to be entertaining. I need them to be fun.
Hear me out. How about women's Team USA? Because they're going to be as stacked as ever, and that's always a show with USA and Canada there. So how about we think about them for our little optimism?
I'm super down. Who do you think outside of Canada and USA for the women's side is somebody to watch?
Ooh. That's like a name of a player or like...
I was thinking like a country to watch, but if you have a player to watch, I'll take that too.
I feel like it's slim pickings for the thing there, but I will say it's always the USA-Canada show with the women's. But I've been watching Abby Newhook on the Fleet right now, and she's a rookie, and she is just on fire, and it's electric to watch her. So I'm going to say go Fleet on that one.
All right, I'll take that one. And then before I let you go, do you have any Christmas traditions, or do you have a favorite Christmas tradition since it's the holidays here at the Sports Hub?
Ooh, Christmas tradition. I think it's fun because my niece is now, as she's been growing up, it's been great to integrate with her family. And what they do is like they do on the day of Christmas, and we do this whole dance thing. And my family has never been a tradition thing, so it's actually been like low-key lovely to incorporate that and you like dance around with my niece.
I love that. That's super fun. I'm also an aunt, and it is the best job that I have. Before I let you...
It's fun again.
Yeah. Christmas, like, once you are no longer of, like, real, like, gift-receiving age, it's not really fun again until you have, like, little kids in the family. Like, there was, like, an awkward phase where I was, like, kind of an adult, and my brother didn't have any kids yet, and now that he has 3 kids, it's fun again. And I'm not even, like, a huge Christmas person, but I get how, you know, the holidays are all about family and everything, but it really took me having kids around again to appreciate that.
Yeah, it's the magic. It's pretty lovely.
How old were you when you stopped believing in Santa?
I honestly was very young. My brothers are 10 years older than me, so it's kind of, they probably ruined it for me or something. But like, I was wanting to thank my mom, so it was just probably like 6 or 7. Honestly, she tells a story that I woke up and I walked over to her. I go, I know all this is fake, but I love you.
I love that. I found out that the tooth fairy wasn't real, and then I was like, wait, so Santa's not real either. And my mom was like, yeah, sorry, honey. So
about that.
Also,
I want the credit, honestly. Like, yeah, it's me.
Yeah. All right. Where can my friends that are listening to this right now find you?
At your own risk, at Sara Civian on Twitter.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, of course.
Plug your Instagram. You have awesome content on Instagram, too.
Oh, my God. Thank you. I like to think I crack myself up on my stories. Just same. Sara Civian, no H.
All right. Thanks. Happy holidays. Talk to you soon.
Oh, thank you so much. See you later.
It is Ladies' Night here at the Sports Hub. It truly is. The Cool in the Gang time. What a time to be alive. Skaz, do you have expectations for the Bruins or Team USA in the Olympics?
I think I have legit expectations for Team USA. The Bruins, I'm kind of just trying to enjoy the ride right now. None of us really expected this. Morgan Geeky's ascension to one of the better players in the league. Swayman is back to being Swayman. Like, Frazier Min, they're kind of just finding ways to win. So, I don't expect them to be, juggernauts in the Eastern Conference or anything, but if they can hang around and be a playoff team, I'm all in on that.
George and I on Saturday, and I had this later in the show, but we can bring it up now. I would like people to call in on this because it's not often that I have been a New Englander, aka living here and paying taxes, even if you hate that I'm saying I'm a New Englander. I think I've lived here long enough to say that at this point. Duval till I die. Don't get me wrong. But at this point, I live here. I've lived here long enough. So I feel like I can say nothing in New England as far as sports has surprised me truly in quite some time. But this season, from 3 of the 4 teams in town truly have surprised me. So my question to you guys, and I'm sorry if you heard this on Saturday, but I think it's worth another conversation. Who has surprised you the most in town? Is it a team? Is it a coach? Is it a player? George and I talked about, for me, I think first and foremost, it's got to be Josh McDaniels, because we can look at the Vrabel thing, but he's a proven coach. I watched enough AFC South football. I watched enough of that Tennessee Titans team to know that the issue in Tennessee wasn't Mike Vrabel. He was just kind of a middling scapegoat. I think that if, Mike Tomlin was a little worse than he is, he would be used in the same middling scapegoat situation if he were in a big market. Nashville's not a big market, but he just kind of survived on feasting on, middle of the pack AFC South teams, below middle of the pack AFC South teams. And when you can't, make a deep run in the playoffs, it's kind of what happens. So I knew that Mike Vrabel was a good coach. I wasn't really surprised by the fact that he was able to turn this Patriots team around so quickly, but I was surprised that Josh McDaniels was able to help elevate Drake May to this level so quick when it really could have gone the other direction so easily with what we saw with Trevor Lawrence in the Urban Meyer experiment, right? Trevor's rookie year, new coach, knew everything, and your coach is out here kicking the kicker and screaming at people and having 17-year-olds in his lap at the bar. What is going on here? It easily could have been that type of situation. So the fact that Josh McDaniels was able to elevate Drake May so quickly and make this team just an absolute powerhouse out of nowhere impresses me the most. Second, I'm going to go Morgan Geekie. You could have had, I don't know, a fortune teller in here who has never missed a guess of anything ever. Who's the lady who predicted 9/11? What was her name? You guys know who I'm talking about? She's 110 years old. They're both shaking their heads. But if you know, you know. There's this woman out there who predicted this to happen. She could sit here and tell me that Morgan Geekie was going to have a year like this, and I would have been no, that's not true. There's no way. So Morgan Geekie has to be number 2. And then number 3 would probably be Mike Vrabel. That would be my tier. But for you guys, is it Jaylen Brown? Is it the Celtics? Has it all of a sudden been Jordan Walsh? Has it been Morgan Geekie? Has it been Josh McDaniels? Has it been Drake May? Who this season has surprised you? I know we're really late. We're going to get to some headlines here. We'll be right back. 617-779-0985. You're listening to the Sports Hub.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
All right. Recently fired head coach of It's the Joe Show here. No Joe. Kendra Middleton here with you until 10 o'clock. I'm not a Christmas person. It's not my top 5 favorite holidays. I do agree with Sarah, having like my brother have little kids has helped. But I'm a child of divorce, okay? But Christmas is not my vibe. Like, it's consumerism. It's, if you're into the religion thing, I love that for you. But I'm a Scrooge. I'm a Grinch. It's not my vibe. But I do like that song. And the kids around do help. I wanted to continue our segment that we were doing about big news stories for the week that we got into before we talked to Sarah earlier. But before I talk about Father Philip, I mean Philip Rivers, and whatever is going on with the Colts right now, let's take a call from Travis with a Bruins comparison. What is up, Travis?
How's it going, guys? So the vibe around this Bruins team is kind of giving me 2021 Red Sox. That's just how I feel.
Okay.
I'd love to hear your take. Yeah, I'd love to hear your take. And one more thing, Morgan Geekie is, in my opinion, the best player on the Bruins, hands down.
Why do you think? What are your reasons for the comparison between the two?
I think it's more just the vibe, not necessarily the players. A lot of younger guys on the Bruins team with a little bit more veteran presence on that Red Sox team. But I think the aura around the team is kind of what's going to will them to the playoffs. The power of friendship.
The power of friendship. I love that. I'm a big vibes girl. You guys know that I'm like the queen of a vibe. Once again, I don't know why this call won't drop. Thank you for calling, Travis, by the way. But I'm the queen of a vibe. I love a vibe team. I've talked about how I thought that this Patriots team was a vibe team. I think they like each other. I know that Greg Bedard in the beginning of the season was harping on them a bit for being soft and not having as many padded practices as early as he thought they should have or whatever. But I think it's a vibe thing. I think that he was reading the vibe. I think it's similar to the Bruins. They are a vibe. That 2020 Red Sox team was a vibe. And they got soup. That postseason run was the most fun I've had in this city as a resident. The most fun fall of my life. I had so much fun watching that Red Sox team. I hope that we get the amount of just pure enjoyment in town out of this Bruins team that we got out of that Red Sox team, because that would be a blast, especially at a point in the year where there's not a whole lot going on. The weather's finally starting to get good. I don't know if the Olympics will be, or not the Olympics, the World Cup will be around the same time. When does that start? I don't even know. We can talk about the World Cup, too. I know that there was like some controversy today about the cost of World Cup tickets, which $600 at a lottery get-in is insane. Some of these matchups that are coming to town, I wouldn't pay $600 to see at all. And I expect those to drop. So if you want to go to the World Cup, save your coin, buy a ticket later, because I think that people are going to wind up losing money who are waiting in line to buy these World Cup tickets, unless you're trying to watch Mbappe. Okay? Like those, if you can win a lottery on, whatever. I don't hate the comparison, though. And if you're waiting for in or out, we're going to do it at 8 o'clock. Don't you worry. We have it locked and loaded for you. We will get to that at 8 o'clock. But I don't hate the comparison. I would be ecstatic if the Bruins were as fun as that 2021 Red Sox team. And you guys know I love the vibe angle. I think it's real. Anyways, we were talking about the biggest news stories of the week. Big games going on here this week, especially the Patriots getting Charlie McAvoy back, the Celtics before that loss last night to the Bucks. A lot of stuff to get to in town this week. But I want to talk about the Philip Rivers situation, because what the hell is this? He's a grandpa. He's older than the head coach. And he's coming back to probably start in the NFL. I'm very much in the camp that I don't think that Philip Rivers would be coming back to, a team if he weren't going to start. I'll get to the Riley Leonard thing in a second. I think that this is beyond insane. I think because if you guys follow me online, you know that I just had some new shrimplets hatch, and I was asking for help naming them. I think I have to name one of them Pete Carroll and one of them Philip Rivers, because I genuinely, like I said when we were talking about this earlier, can't remember a more dramatic week in sports outside of me, like since the NBA trade deadline last year. What an insane week. This is how insane it was. I called my best friend who used to be a beat writer for the Red Sox, who recently moved to San Francisco. We talk to each other on the phone constantly. He hasn't watched the NFL since he moved to San Francisco, but loved it. Loved it up until he moved out to the Bay Area. So I asked him, from the Brady, Rodgers, Breeze era, if you had to put money on a QB making a comeback for the Colts this week, who would you guess? And while I don't think his guess was like the perfectly correct era guess that I was looking for, the best guess he could give me was Derek Carr. I thought he would be the perfect person to ask this question because it was just throwing darts at a wall of old quarterbacks. Like, who could this possibly be? I would have thought Brady would come back before Phillip Rivers. And the other thing is, I'm very much in the camp that if he's coming back, he's going to play. Unless he really just hates having 10 kids that much that he'd rather be tackled by grown men for a few weeks at close to 44 years old than be at home with his kids. And on top of that, if he plays a snap for the Colts, is going to reset his Hall of Fame eligibility immediately. I don't think he would come back knowing that. Because whatever happens here certainly isn't going to help the argument. It's probably going to hurt it. I don't know if you guys... I am not one to body shame. And that's the thing, is that I get that they're professional athletes. It's probably more so fair game for us to talk about their physique and how in shape people are. But he doesn't look good. I don't think he's been working out. I don't think he's been running laps with the high schoolers he's coaching. No. Like, Tom Brady takes care of himself. He's in shape. I don't know if you guys saw Phillip Rivers at the podium the other day. He looks like a 44-year-old man with 10 kids. Like, he does. I'm sorry. He does. And I do think it's important to note in this entire situation that Shane Steichen was his quarterback coach when he was in the league. He runs the same offense with the high school team that he coaches, so there is the familiarity and the continuity in that aspect. If you've listened to the Saturday show, you know I love Riley Leonard. I have for a few years, and this team is doomed either way, but I honestly don't think had an option. When I first had this conversation, probably would have guessed that they'd go out there and get someone like Nathan Rourke, right? Like, has had some, showings in the preseason in the NFL, has looked good playing Canadian football. I want to say he was maybe the Canadian football MVP. Is that true? Maybe I'm making that up, but I feel like that's accurate. That's probably the person I would have gone out there and expected, but there's 0% chance that Riley Leonard is healthy. He's only trying to play because of the pressure of the opportunity. You can't tell me that he's healthy. So what is their better choice than, I guess, at this point, past the trade deadline, going out there and getting somebody's grandpa? An injured rookie where they, maybe attempt to run the Notre Dame offense he was in, or bring in Father Phillip, who doesn't look in shape at all, and you just pray to God you get some game management and a Joe Flacco performance from the guy. I truly don't know. I really don't.
Isn't this like a massive problem for the NFL, and like kind of showing a glaring hole that the league has in quarterback play, that the Colts are not forced into the situation, but they're kind of fighting for their playoff lives. Like they had a pretty good team this year, good roster, and their solution to this is to bring in grandfather Phillip Rivers, who hasn't played in 5 years because there's the NFL can't find 20 good quarterbacks. And I don't know if it's a college problem, you would know better than me, a progression problem, like how they're playing in college, but I think it's a bad sign for the league and kind of a bad look for the development of players in the league that the Colts are resorting to Phillip Rivers at this point.
Yeah, but I don't know how you go and you make a rule to let people make a late trade without it coming back to be bad later on, right? Like, you're opening the floodgates for that. So it's like, if we're making an exception for, let's say, all of your quarterbacks are injured, and we'll let you, bargain with a fifth and a seventh, or a fifth and a third, or whatever they allow people to bargain with, or whatever the parameters might be. I don't know. I think in the era of gambling, I don't see how that goes and doesn't go even more south, because I wanted to talk about the Pete Carroll thing as well, which I'm sure we'll get to at some point. But speaking of, Vegas and gambling, I don't even know how Vegas begins to set a number for this game. And what's the number you start to consider Indy covering? Is it 2 touchdowns, which I think it is right now? This is truly just so unprecedented that it's probably the most unfathomable and insane thing I've seen in a long time. I agree with you that there probably needs to be something. But if, have we ever seen anything like this? Like, obviously, Daniel Jones gets hurt. Anthony Richardson shattered his orbital bone with a freaking reflex band, which, what? And then Riley Leonard gets hurt being, the backup to what happened to Daniel Jones. So, I mean, has this ever even happened before where a team's been leading their division, top of the conference, and all three of their quarterbacks have, I think that honestly at this point you just have to call it luck of the draw, right? And Daniel Jones on a 1-year deal, now sitting out on an Achilles. What happens to him? Like, he's obviously, and him and his agent are going to be looking for probably a bigger deal because of how he performed this year, but you're not going to get that with a guy on Achilles, so there's no way that the Colts are going to keep him around. You go out there and get Kyler Murray? No. Like, what? I don't think this has ever happened, and what are your other options here? I don't know.
Yeah, like, is CJ Beathard out there somewhere? Like, Jake Fromm, Jeff Driscoll, guys like that? Like, that's really what you're looking at.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how you go out and fix the problem without creating more problems eventually, So, that's my thoughts on the Phillip Rivers thing. I do want to talk about the Pete Carroll thing just because I have some harsh things to say to the people about that. But we're going to do in or out. I don't know why I think I'm hungry. I think I need to eat my olives during this break. Olives and chocolate. That's what I'm going to eat because I'm insane. When we come back, we're going to do in or out. If you want to get it on today's show, 617-779-0985. We can get to you after that. You're listening to the Sports Hub.
What's it going to be, McFly? Are you in or out?
Don't go anywhere.
Are you in or out? Gotta know without a doubt. I'm the one you need for a dirty deed. I'm the best. Success is guaranteed.
Skaz, lead this one. I'm nervous.
Yes, Kendra, welcome. Your first solo edition of In or Out.
I know. I feel like this could go off the rails so fast, which, to be fair, I feel like when Joe's here, he pushes me off the rails for, entertainment's purpose. But I don't even have anybody to rein me in or push me over the edge here. This could be a problem.
The Joe Show lives off the rails, so you're in the right spot.
I'm amongst friends.
Yes, of course. We will start a Friday night edition of In or Out with some holiday theme ones. Why not? Kendra Middleton, you are someone who loves your dog very deeply, brings your dog all around. He is your little companion. Kendra Middleton, are you in or out on Santa pictures with your pets?
So I'm out on Santa and the Easter Bunny and any old man wanting people to sit on their lap for a photo and asking them what they want for whatever. I'm out on that. So I think I'm in on, the dogs. If you're going to do it, I think it's weirder to have your dog or, your cat or something with Santa than, your child. So I'm going to go in, but only for pets. Out on men in costumes who want kids to sit on their lap. Out.
Are you in or out on people without kids? Say adults, people our age, going to just get their picture with Santa?
I'm in if you're using it as a Christmas card because you don't want to hire a photographer or something like that. But if you're just going to get your picture with Santa, you do you. But personally, I'm out.
I'm kind of with you there. There's a time and place.
At what age does Santa become a weird thing?
All right, Kendra, from Santa to some food. A food I'm not sure if you're familiar with. Have you ever heard of Tantos before?
No.
Tantos, this was a Shark Tank product, I believe. They are described as puffed pasta chips. So they are basically a bag of chips, but they are all pasta flavored. We have pesto stuffed and puffed pasta chip. Cacio pepe puffed pasta chip, marinara puffed pasta chip. Kendra, are we in or out on pasta chips?
I'm so in on pasta chips. Are we kidding? First of all, my guilty pleasure snack out of all the things is always a chip. If I'm doing a grocery store run or a gas station or I'm going to a movie or I'm at a game, always chips. I'm a savory girl. I'm not a sweet girl. It's always going to be chips for me. I actually did have pesto chips semi-recently. I went to an Italian market in New York, and they had pesto chips, and they were so good. So if you could put anything on a chip, and I think I'd eat it. I ate steak-flavored chips in New York. Those were so good. They were like Lay's from some Asian country. I bought them at an Asian grocery store. Incredible. You could put... Some of the fake cheddar flavors go a little too far with the fake cheddar. I'm in on sour cream and onion. I will eat the salt and vinegar ones until my mouth bleeds. Love barbecue. But some of the weird cheddar flavors with the powder, they go a little too far. I like the Ruffles Ridges cheddar ones, but I think that the Pringles cheddar, a little too much of the dust.
Too much dust.
Too much dust.
Here's one I've been waiting to get your take on. A headline reads, a man is going viral for spending $81,000 on a height BBL to grow from 5'5" to 6'1", and he says his legs are stronger than ever. Kendra Middleton, are we in or out on height BBLs? I would assume this is mostly for men, but in or out on height BBLs?
I have seen this, and I'm in. If you're willing to have both of your legs broken, dedicated to the grind of being a couple inches taller, that rules. That's dedication. Girls get stuff done. I'm in on Dr. Lopresti. Babe, if you start going bald, I'll go to Turkey. I'll go hang out with the cats. You can get the lasers on your head. Let's do it. If you want to get your legs broken so you can be 8 inches taller, that's tough as nails. Hell yeah. That's gritty. Let's do it. However, what I will say to this is I think in the era of plastic surgery, you need to be honest with your partner about those things. I get that it's harder to hide a BBL or a boob job or anything like that, but if you're procreating with someone and you used to be 5'5", and they're coming out expecting like LeBron James, I think that we should be honest about that. Like I think that honesty is key here. You got to be like, listen, sounds crazy. I broke both of my legs and now I'm 6'1". Crazy. But I'm actually 5'5". I think that we just need a level of transparency, but I'm all in on like the plastic surgery gender equality. Go to Turkey, go get that hair, go see Dr. Lepresti, go get the veneers, whatever. You know what? Keep it spicy for me, baby. Keep that thing in check.
And some maintenance, just a little maintenance.
Yeah,
That's all.
like, I get Botox, whatever.
Who hasn't broken both their legs to look better? It's
hey,
just what we do.
I broke my jaw to look better. I have cowbone holding this face together. Go break your legs, baby. I'll see you soon.
Do what you got to do.
Yeah, I'll hold your hand.
All right, Kendra, we'll head back to the holidays for this one. A very simple one. Are you in or out on eggnog?
I hate eggnog. I hate mayonnaise. Anything that is like an egg pudding or like liquid or jelly eggs, I'm out. Listen.
Are you a Jell-O fan?
I'm allergic to Jell-O because of the coloring, but I don't think I'll eat it if I can, but I don't love and here's the thing, I eat collagen every single day, but there's something about the thought of eating ground up like horse bones and hooves that just kind of geeks me out a little bit. Like when I put collagen in my coffee every morning, do I think about that? Yeah. Do I drink it anyway? Also, yes. But it's different when you have to chew it. It's like I'm drinking colored ground horse bone right now. That's weird.
Yeah, kind of out on that, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to say out. I mean, I know I hate eggnog, but like any of the, no.
Not an eggnog guy. We will head to college football for our next few. You've been mentioning the Sharon Moore situation at Michigan all throughout the night, and we won't dive too deep into it, but are you in or out on John Gruden to Michigan?
Okay, I think that this is a double-edged sword for me, because do I think it's a terrible idea because he's just going to inevitably get them canceled again because he's a bad guy, and he's a bad guy, and you can't really hide that he's a bad guy? So I think that it's a bad idea, but from an entertainment perspective, yeah. Anything to watch, like Portnoy cry or whatever, in. So in a roundabout way, I'm in because I think it's a terrible idea, and I like prey on that downfall. So kind of in, but like there's no way they would do that having these back-to-back scandals. Like you have these huge cheating scandals back-to-back. You can't bring in a guy like that who has been fired for being a piece of crap. Like, no, I don't think they can do it, but from an entertainment perspective and from a, visceral hater perspective, I kind of like it.
All right, from Michigan to Army-Navy this weekend. A food item available at the Army-Navy game this weekend will be the tin can crab nachos in a Navy destroyer. It is kettle chips paired with Maryland crab dip, sweet corn pico de gallo, creamy queso blanco, Old Bay topped lump crab, and Fresno chilies. Kendra Middleton, are you in or out?
Did they design this personally for Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson with the Old Bay and the it's like you get
they can meet in the middle,
You get Bill Belichick's ideal dinner, but in a toy because Jordan Hudson's like 19. It's perfect.
It's a Happy Meal.
Yeah, literally, it's a Navy Happy Meal. I am so in on this. I'm not a huge... What kind of crab is it?
It is...
Maryland blue crab, is that what it said?
I believe so.
I'm not a huge blue crab fan just because it has such a distinct taste. I don't know if I have any crab connoisseurs out there.
I prefer like crab over lobster, but I'm not like a connoisseur by any means.
Yeah, like blue crab specifically has a very distinct taste, but I think if you cover anything in enough cheese and Old Bay, like, yeah, I'm in. I love corn. Yeah, in.
All right, we will head to the world of Netflix for this next one. Peaky Blinders is getting a movie, and one Barry Keoghan is set to be the new leader of this generation of Peaky Blinders. Kendra, are we in or out on Barry Keoghan being the new leader of the Peaky Blinders?
The cast of Peaky Blinders could punch me in the face and I'd have no idea who they are. Never seen it. He also did my girl Sabrina Carpenter dirty, though, so I hate to see him win, so I'm out.
Out on that.
I'm out.
Can't be doing that to Sabrina.
Was he in Peaky Blinders?
That I don't know. I'm not very familiar with. I know Killian Murphy there was
Yeah,
in it,
I
but
did know
I
that.
don't know Barry. I don't know this guy, Keoghan.
Yeah, he did my girl Sabrina Carpenter pretty dirty. So I'm going to say out on any kind of success he's going to have.
All right, we'll wrap up with this one tonight because we have mentioned Phillip Rivers numerous times. Every week, outlets do QB power rankings. And this week, I believe it was CBS, but I'm not 100% sure, had Phillip Rivers at 31 and J.J. McCarthy at 32. Kendra Middleton, are you in or out on Phillip Rivers being ahead of J.J. McCarthy?
For the laugh, kind of. But at the same time, I get that it's probably just based off the experience. Like, I saw his Madden rating is going to be a 70.
Something like that, yeah.
But at least J.J. McCarthy can run around and has, like, been in a gym in the last month. I don't know. I'm kind of out on it. I get you have to respect the old man in a way. You can't put him dead last. But he's a grandpa, dude. He's twice J.J. McCarthy's age at least. Like, that's crazy. All right, would you... I don't know, because if Justin Fields was starting, he would probably be... Would it be J.J. McCarthy or Justin Fields he'd beat out?
That's true, too. Yeah. I might have him above Justin Fields right now, which is crazy.
I think Justin Fields' career is over. First of all, I love Justin Fields. I was cheering for him the hardest out of that draft class as far as quarterbacks go. But one, you're bad. Sorry. Two, I empathize with the emotional roller coaster he has admitted that he's been through this season. But at the same time, you can't sit there and when they ask you to play like the Taysom Hill role for your team, you can't really say no and expect people to be like, yeah, this guy's a team player. Let's have him be our backup. Like, no. Like, what? People are bringing in Phillip Rivers.
If you could unretire one professional athlete, who would it be?
I feel like I have to... You mean just to see them play another season, or like the Phillip Rivers like comeback final tour type of thing?
Like, knock on wood, knock on everything you believe in. Trevor Lawrence goes down, and you can have your pick of a retired quarterback.
Tom Brady.
You're taking Brady.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah.
It's not even... And he's still in shape.
And he probably wants to play.
Listening to some of the games that he calls, I'm like, he makes it sound like he's like, this guy's such an idiot. Like, I could be out there. That could be me. But I know that he's like happy doing his, broadcasting thing and then yacht hopping with the kids. He's all over I don't know how that man has the energy. You can't tell me that not eating tomatoes makes that much of a difference. Like, I'm sorry. You can't. Do you think he had buccal fat removal? Like his cheeks? Like, do you think because like, he definitely had something done.
I mean, I wish I could comment on what buccal fat removal is. I'm not 100% sure.
Like, you know how his like cheeks caved in really bad? You can have like the fat in your cheeks like liposuctioned out.
I would co-sign that he's done something for sure. Not even a doubt there. Something has been done.
Yeah.
Yeah, handsome guy.
Yeah. I mean, hey, speaking of being pro-surgery, if it's good enough for Tom Brady, it's good enough for me. You can't.
We don't shame.
No, that man definitely has Botox. That's the thing. He definitely has Botox and some filler. So you can't tell me that eating tomatoes is just the difference here. I'm not gonna listen to that.
No, certainly not. That is gonna wrap up a Friday night edition of In or Out. Thank you, Kendra.
Thank you for letting me join. We're gonna do the musings at 8:50 still. Yeah, musings at 8:50. Let's hit a quick commercial break. When we come back, I want to talk about the Pete Carroll thing quickly, just because I think it deserves a minute. It didn't get enough attention this week, and I think that it's going to be a big issue moving forward. If you want to give us a call on anything, in or out, anything we've talked about so far tonight, if you want to talk about the World Cup, if you want to talk about the Celtics, anything, 617-779-0985. You're listening to the Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5. You're listening to Joe Murray.
for the over-under show. We can get into some NFL stuff later for those of you who are actually going to enjoy your Saturday morning and sleep in and not listen to me ramble off degenerate gambling picks at 8 o'clock in the morning. Fair. If you want to call in and ask me some, gambling questions ahead of time, go ahead and do it. 617-779-0985 if you'd like to be on tonight's show. Before we got back, I have to say, we need to give Joe Murray some kudos here because I have never done the Joe Show. I've done 4 hours on other shows when there's other people around, even with the headlines and everything. You can run out, you can go to the bathroom, you can heat up your food, whatever. On the Joe Show, it's truly like you have to be in here. You can't run out and go pee. You can't go heat up your food. So I just ate a cold falafel wrap. And at the bottom of it, I'm so glad we weren't on YouTube for this. And Skaz says that he wishes that we were. But the plastic that my falafel wrap was wrapped in stuck to the end of it. And I had like half swallowed it. And so like there was like half falafel in my mouth and half plastic. And there's already at least a teaspoon of chemicals and plastic in my brain that would have contributed to an issue that I do not need. But I'm so glad we weren't on YouTube for that because
we've all got microplastics in us, nowadays. It's just common.
Yeah, it's like our grandparents were like asbestos. Our parents were probably like lead paint and were microplastics for sure. Like no question.
Yeah, no doubt. Probably like 25% microplastics.
And then, like, our kids are going to be, like, probably...
AI.
I was going to say, like, pollution particles in their lungs.
There you go. Look on the bright side.
Yeah. Yeah, why not procreate? Why do we think Japan had, like, literally negative Japanese people born this last year? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe because our kids are going to suffocate to death. It's always bright and sunny here when I'm in the studio. Anyways, before we went to break, I wanted to talk about this whole Pete Carroll situation because, oh, big balls, future Hall of Famer Pete Carroll, you dirty dog. He kicks the field goal, aiming to cover the spread. Like, you can sit here and you can say all of the excuses about how it's the best coaching decision he could have made in that moment. It wasn't about covering the spread. There's no way he knew the spread, blah, blah, blah. Let me preface this. I needed this for our Action Network parlay to hit, so I was stoked about it. But this truly divided fans and the gambling community in a way I don't think that we've seen in a while. And obviously, gambling is a job for me at this point. But there are good beats and bad beats for everyone. And if you're betting money, you aren't comfortable losing, you shouldn't be betting. That's just how it has to be. Like, I'm sorry, but that's how it has to be. This is going to continue to happen. It's going to get worse, and I don't know how you fix it. Gambling is the wild, wild west. We haven't reached the final stage of what gambling is going to look like in the future. Same with anything addictive. Weed, booze, all of it. I think this is all just insane because it worked in my favor, yes. But if you hate this, then it's probably time for you to quit betting because I don't see this going away anytime soon at all. Because how do you prevent... we're watching this whole like Terry Rozier thing go down in real time, right? Like Shohei Ohtani was the league's sweetheart. He was definitely gambling. Like, I'm sorry, you had to have a scapegoat in that situation. You can't have your MLB moneymaker, international darling get got for gambling, right? But we're watching this whole Terry Rozier situation, and if you've watched some of the clips of him definitely blowing games back in the day, you can't deny that this hasn't been going on. It's not going to not get worse. How do you prevent players, coaching staff, whatever, from having access to, lines and gambling or anything like that? You don't, because it's talked about. I'm sorry, I've talked about this before. When we sit here and we're watching the FanDuel cast from FanDuel Arena with this FanDuel code and FanDuel plastered all over, the courts or the sidelines or the boards or whatever. Like, players know about gambling. They know the lines. They know everything. There's no way you can prevent that. And honestly, like, how do you even expect to? Because you're not only shoving it down the consumer's throat, But inevitably, you're shoving it down the athletes' throats. It's not going to get any better. It's not going to go anywhere. But at the end of the day, what do people, because it's so casually talked about on, our shows, the broadcast, the major national shows, whatever, it's all, even the college football games, like they are now doing picks on college game day based off of the spread. Like not straight up anything. It is everywhere all the time. And I expect more regulations the same way we've seen these like laws get slapped down and the taxation and all of this stuff. I expect it to be a little bit more regulated by the time this situation rolls around, or like this scenario rolls around or finishes or gets regulated a couple years from now. It's not going to look the same. But there's no way to prevent players and coaches from not knowing these things. So if you're going to sit here and you're going to be mad at Pete Carroll, be mad at Pete Carroll. If you were on the other side of it, if I was on the other side of it, I'd be upset. But that being said, like, because this is the conversation on all of these national shows at this point, or any game that we consume, do you think it's a moral victory to cover the spread now? Because I do. Like, we're judging teams based off of how badly you should lose. If you lose by, a better result than people expect, like that's better than not.
This is like a big thing in college too, right? Like more than the NFL and pros even, like the college markets, the boosters, those guys, they really care about if their alma mater covers the spread. Like that saves jobs in college football.
It does. Yeah, especially when we're getting these games where universities are paying small schools millions and millions of dollars to kick their ass. Like if you're telling me, UNH is going to play Alabama and they lose by less than 40, I'm like, hell, like that's the spread, 40. And they lose by less than that, I'm like, hell yeah, go UNH, like good for them. I don't care that they lost by 39 points. I'm like, you know what? They covered the spread. They did better than people expected them to. You're right. It does save jobs. It changes conversations. And I think that that's just probably where the reality is going to be anymore. It's not going to be, is this team going to win or is this team going to win? It's going to be like, is this team going to cover this spread or not? That's the early stages of this whole thing that we're in. College game day is already giving that to you. So, and you know what? Like even we are guilty of it too. Like just take my gambling show out of it. Zolak and Bertrand, when they make their picks for the week, they're not making them based off of money lines. They're making them based off of what's the spread. We are all guilty at this point. Like if it's not ingrained in your brain, it's just always the question about a game. The follow-up is constantly, well, what's the spread? That's the constant follow-up. It's just, this is so ingrained in us at this point. I don't know how you change it. And that's my concern. Because is it affecting games? Probably. Yeah, there's no denying that. You can't tell me that Pete Carroll did that, went for that field goal because he thought that it was the best coaching decision. No, it was because he knew that that would cover the spread. There's no other way around it, which is honestly ironic that it's the team in Vegas, right? Like, of course it would be the team in Vegas. And before there were teams in Vegas and before there is, eventually, inevitably an NBA expansion, that conversation's going to continue because everyone's always going to talk about, even before there were Vegas teams, before there's more Vegas teams, well, the distractions, well, the partying, well, the booze, well, the girls, well, the gambling. Okay. You can do any of that from any place at this point. I just do think that it happened to be a coincidence that it was the Vegas teams. Tell me what state you either A, can't legally gamble, go pick up chicks, go get drinks, whatever, or as a person with all of that money and all of those resources, you can't outsource those things to be gotten for you. It's never going to change. We are at a point now where gambling is just so ingrained in our society, I don't know how we get rid of it. And do I think, even though this has become a profession for me, that there needs to be some changes and some rules and all of that? Yeah, because if there isn't, then sports and the way that we enjoy them and consume them is going to go down a path. We're already down a path I don't think we can recover from in the gambling sense. Like, that's just the reality of it. So Are things going to change? Yes. Do things need to change? Yes. Do I agree with all of this taxation and everything that's going on with gambling? No. Like, we pay taxes on everything. Like, literally everything. Let the kids have fun. Let me be a degenerate. Let me like something. I get that you tax the crap out of booze and cigarettes and weed and any kind of guilty pleasures that you know you can tax from people. I know it's coming, but this is getting a little bit outrageous, and it's kind of scary. I love gambling. It's so fun. The thing I love most about gambling, it's not the winning. It's how much like having a couple dollars on a game helps you remember things. Like, I don't know if there's anybody out there that will just casually throw a couple dollars on games. There's instances from games, plays, covers, losses that I remember just because I was paying such close attention to it for a cover or a prop or whatever. That's my favorite part about it, is that it genuinely, obviously makes me more interested, so it helps me remember it. It makes me better at my job. Sure, it's fun to win. Sure, it's fun to, pull out the Action Network app and be like, yeah, look at my units, But that's a different part about it. I love that it helps me be invested, makes me better at my job, helps me remember stats, pushes me to care more, because your dollar is invested in something. And it's not just chasing like the dollar of like, yeah, this is my job. It's like, this is instant gratification. And I think that as humans is what we love about it, is that instant gratification with anything addictive. There's going to be regulations to come. It's still so new. It's exactly like when weed was, beginning to become legal. We're going to see changes through all of these things. If the worst thing that happened to you last week was Pete Carroll kicking a field goal, I think we should probably all have a little bit of perspective here. We're learning so much on the Joe Show tonight about ourselves, about me, about you, about not losing your home for a night in a hotel, for not getting mad at future Hall of Famer Pete Carroll. We're bonding here at the Sports Hub. We're going to hit a headline and a break. When we come back, we're going to have the musings. If you want to get in on tonight's show, I see somebody on the line. Stay there, 617-779-0985. You're listening to the Sports Hub.
Essential Sports Hub headline, presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
All right, sweet friends. If you haven't heard that Michigan head coach Sherrone Moore had his arraignment today, you haven't been listening to the Sports Hub tonight. And he faces 3 criminal charges. Prosecutors got him with third-degree home invasion.
been getting wholesale deals for years.
It's Joe Murray on the Sports Zone.
You want a random take? Murray's got all sorts on stuff in the world unrelated to sports. So sit back, relax, and get your mind in the game and listen to the words of a grown man complaining.
Welcome back to the Joe Show. Kendra Middleton taking you all the way up to 10 o'clock. It's time for the musings. Skaz. I don't even know where to start.
You got a lot to muse about?
Honestly, no, because I think that's my issue. I think the worst, and honestly, knock on wood, thank God, I have nothing to muse about that's that deep. But honestly, the only thing that's really been grinding my gears this week is the new Call of Duty update. But I'd say that's pretty, there's genuinely, and it doesn't irritate me as much as Joe with the lettuce. I listened to that whole...
A fiasco.
I'll never forget I came in here with a green juice in a bottle that didn't even have a label on it. And he was like, lettuce, I smell it. Where is it?
Smells it coming off the elevator.
It's in the sniffer on that man is wild. Wild. I don't know. I think the new Call of Duty update is the worst thing ever. I genuinely hate it. I think that's the only thing that has made me upset this week. Maybe actually, you know what? Now that we are talking this through, Trevor Lawrence out of nowhere popping up on the injury report for the Jacksonville Jaguars. That is what I would like to muse about, because there's rumors going around that he did it at the Christmas party. And I'm like, all right, bubble wrap. I get that he runs around like a baby giraffe. Like when he takes off, I'm like, oh no. Oh no. Literal baby giraffe that was born last Tuesday type of thing. So I could see that happening, but him popping up on the injury report, I think is an ankle. That's what I'm musing about. What are you musing about, Skaz?
Oh boy. Let's see. Are you specific about items in your household? Like the toothpaste you use, the mouthwash you use, stuff like that?
I actually just went through this. I had a boy sleepover, and he was like, do you buy the same toothpaste every time? And I was like, no. It's genuinely how desperate I am. Like, if I'm just in the store, I'll buy whatever sounds good. Or if I'm on Amazon, I'm going to buy whatever doesn't have weird, crazy ingredients that are going to put more plastic in my brain.
Yeah, so my fiance asked if I liked our new mouthwash recently, and I just said it's mouthwash. I don't have thoughts on mouthwash. I don't think about mouthwash. So I'm learning that there are things that I need to maybe not care about, but be aware of in the house. Like my opinions on blinds. I don't have opinions on blinds. They serve a purpose. I'm for the purpose, but I don't have thoughts on them. I don't have thoughts on toothpaste or mouthwash.
I have thoughts about this because I am so convinced that men just do this thing called weaponized incompetence.
Oh, huge fan of it.
Oh my God, it's the worst. It's like, I'm not particular about toothpaste or mouthwash or anything, but I need my shoes to be lined up by the front door. I need my blankets to be folded.
I can get behind that.
I need you to pay attention to details. And it's I know that you're capable of looking at something and not messing it up, but it's the lack of care or just, I need more.
You don't want clothes on the floor. You want them in a hamper.
No, honestly, if I'm going to start doing this, if you're one of my friends or a partner or something like that, and I put your something in the hamper, or I pick up this, or I've asked you to do your dishes twice and you haven't, I'm going to start taking a picture, and for every time, I'm going to Venmo request you $5.
I like that. It's,
is that evil?
Aggressive, but
I am
maybe just aggressive. It might just be aggressive.
I am, yes. Yes, Skaz. That is, yep. Okay, River, what are you musing about?
Okay, so I think what I need to muse about is about the heating situation in my on-campus apartment right now where I go to school. So for those of you who don't know, I'm in school. I go to a very small private school, and it's one of those schools where they guarantee housing for 4 years, which is very uncommon for most schools. So I get back from Thanksgiving, right? It's a Sunday. I get back. I walk in to our suite. It is freezing. It's probably 55 degrees in the suite. It is brutal. So Come to find out, something in the heating system is broken, and it's gonna be like something like they have to order a part, and it's gonna be a long fix. So thankfully, shout out to facilities. They gave us a bunch of space heaters to put in our room. So
that's what could go wrong with college students and space heaters? What could go wrong?
Yeah, they're just like don't turn it on max. You got to keep it on low, so that we don't like blow a fuse or something. But they're just like keep it on low, and we'll be good. And then another thing happened. So the hot water in our dorm. Obviously, it's the winter months. It's December. It gets cold, right? So hot showers are a must. Well, recently, I've been turning the nozzle all the way onto the hottest possible setting, and it's been like warm.
Mine's been doing that too. It drives me nuts because I'm anemic and I'm from Florida, and like having an Australian Shepherd in the winter is so tough because he's a man on the go. Okay, that's
putting it lightly. I feel like
he's got things to do. He's got sniffs to sniff, and he's got people to see, babies to kiss. Okay, like he needs to go. And so when I come inside, I want a warm shower, and my shower has been doing the same thing. I called maintenance. I was like, listen, I pay $3,300 a month to live here. I want hot water. And they did the thing where they just extend it, nothing. And it's driving me nuts. Respectfully, I'm a woman from the Deep South. I know that you're not supposed to ask people their age. River, how old are you?
I am 22.
Okay, so when I graduated college in 2020, I'm a 2020 grad, so tough sledding out there. I moved in. I went to Auburn for 2 years, obviously transferred to UNH. After I graduated, I moved into a house with 3 girls and 1 guy and 1 bathroom. And I wasn't there when we picked out the house. And I texted the group and I was like, hey, I have a dog. Like, I'll pay extra for the bigger room. Like, that's fine with me. And they were all like, yeah, chill. I was out of town on a work trip when they picked rooms. They stuck me in an 8x8 room in the attic with half a ceiling and no heat and no AC for a year.
You're like Harry Potter living under the stairs.
I literally was. I had no heat, nothing. Lived in the attic with my Australian Shepherd and had to run a space heater every single day and night for months. My window was shattered. Our landlord sucked. We paid $500 a month. Like, we were recent college grads during COVID. So, like, do I expect to be living in luxury? No. But, like, screw my friends for that. I'm not friends with the girl anymore that decided to do that to me. She can...
Yeah, that's awful.
As far as I'm concerned. But, like, I totally get that because I lived an entire winter in an attic with a space heater and a 5-foot-tall ceiling and an Australian Shepherd, so I empathize with that.
Yeah, but it gets worse. Here's the thing. So, as I mentioned, we had hot water, but obviously turn it all the way up to the highest setting, it's warm. Now we just don't have any period. It's just... I get a text from one of my roommates this morning. He's like, yeah, it's like, we don't have any hot water. So now really, 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 really cold.
Wait,
shower.
Is this your last week, though?
I think next week is my last week. Next Friday is my last day here.
I was going to say, our showers for the gym, so nice. Just go scan it. Bring a towel and go scan into the showers here.
Yeah. I might have to.
Yeah. No, I'm not even kidding.
If the hot water situation doesn't get fixed, I'll have to figure something out because I can't take freezing cold showers in December. I can't do it. I can do it. I just don't want to do it.
I don't care if it makes me soft to not want to do that.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I'm glad you both brought this up because it's something I saw this week, but I didn't think of it for amusing. But now that you both mentioned it, hot showers are, like you guys said, a necessity. I think it's something most, if not all of us do, especially in the winter. Neil deGrasse Tyson is a gentleman who is a scientist, I think. He has some takes. I recently saw him on Twitter saying that hot showers are very bad for people because of like what they do to our immune system, or our body shouldn't be in hot water for extended periods of time. And that's my musing. Like, let us have something. Let us enjoy just one thing without repercussions. Like, everything has a side effect. I get it, but can I just have a hot shower in the winter?
Oh my God, you're going to have to pry my hour-long 200-degree Fahrenheit showers from my cold, dead hands. And I'm so serious about that. And I don't think that I believe that for 2 reasons. One, Because, like, there have been so many why is being in a hot sauna good for you but not hot water? I get that it probably sits on your organs or your skin differently, but, like, why is it okay for me to, like, good for me to sweat in a sauna but not a shower? And people have been getting in hot springs since the dawn of time. And additionally, was this study, not to be this way, but because of the discrepancy between studies of medicine of any kind or anything between men and women, like, was this just for men or was this just for women? Because last year, I was gung-ho on the cold plunge thing. Everybody was like, cold plunging's the best thing you can do. It's so awesome for you. It helps you recovery. You know who those studies were done on? Men. You know who cold plunging is actually terrible for? Women. In all of the studies they've done about cold plunging, it doesn't help women's recovery. It actually messes up your hormones. It screws up your menstrual cycle, the whole bit. Like, I need to know if that hot water study is just on men or women, because either way, we all need our vices, right? Like, mine's a fat joint and a hot shower.
Cosign.
I'm not into the booze thing. I'm not into, like, hard drugs. I don't, like, I guess gambling, whatever, but that's like a job for me, so I feel like that's okay. It's like a liquor rep being like, yeah, I'm testing product. But you're gonna have to pry the shower from my cold dead hands. There's absolutely emphasis on cold.
Yeah, I mean, they could come out with a study tomorrow that hot showers cause cancer, and I'm still not taking cold showers.
No, what doesn't cause cancer? Like,
well, that's true.
Genuinely breathing causes cancer.
Yes, microplastics everywhere. Yeah, we're all screwed.
Yeah.
Might as well enjoy ourselves a little bit.
Yeah, like, life is way too short. You gotta have something, whether it's hot showers or, you know, a cold one. Who cares? Okay, I feel like we mused, guys. Thank you for joining, River. We're going to take a quick break, get to a headline. When we come back, honestly, I don't know. We've got lots to talk about. Maybe we'll go into the NFL card for the weekend, because it's a big one. A lot of implications. Maybe we'll do a rundown of the NFL. If you want to get in, I see you on the phone, 617-779. We'll get to you when we get back. You're listening to the Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray.
and is out at least this week for their game against the Dolphins. Your Boston Celtics were losers to the Milwaukee Bucks last night, 116-101 after a third quarter collapse and a tough night from three. They're off until Monday when they play the Pistons. And your Bruins got Charlie McAvoy back on the ice last night against the Jets, where they won 6-3. David Pastrnak scoring 2 of the Bees' goals in the win, and they are off until Sunday when they take on the Minnesota Wild. Sports Hub headlines were brought to you by Valvoline. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com for 15% off your drive-through oil change at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, the official oil change of busy people. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub, Boston's home for sports. I'm Kendra Middleton, and your next update is around 9:30.
To us, Boston pride runs deep.
I'm a Bostonian!
This is Boston's home for sports.
Bow, bow, bow!
98.5 The Sports Hub.
Being on the line so patiently. How we doing?
Hi, Kendra. First of all, our compliment. I admire your knowledge of sports and your ability to convey it over the airwaves. And I wanted to just mention, I watched the Indiana game, and particularly Mendoza, the quarterback, and I think he's a blue chip guy. He has an adherence, and he has his, people who are not so high on him. But I saw him throw bullets, and I saw him throw touch passes. Now, I know he's a character, but he's going to sell a lot of tickets to whoever drafts him. But I definitely think he's an NFL prospect. And finally, I'm an old guy. I'm an old cat, and I grew up. I grew up in an area where people started betting very young, and they're extremely cynical. This was when you went through bookies. I'm 80 years old, and I'm from South Boston originally, and I always stayed away from those guys. My glass has always been half full. And for me to even contemplate that Pete Carroll might have made a move to shave points, it's just abhorrent to me. And I hope that is wrong. And I'm surprised that people are even thinking that way. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John. I appreciate the call. As far as the Mendoza thing goes, I do think that he's one of these guys that has just this likability about him. I think he's going to be a good player. We watched him not only have a good game last week, but the kid's a winner. He showed that he's a winner all season long. I mean, what a season from Indiana. Like I said, I expected them to be a good team this year. I didn't expect them to be a great team this year, but what a story he has been, what this team has been. I expect his talent to translate well to the NFL, but what a likable guy, right? Like, he kind of gives like the Drake May vibe, just a little bit more anxiety. Like, he just, like, if Drake May is like a golden retriever or like a lab, he's like the Australian shepherd of just players. Like, if I had to compare him to an animal, like, the anxiety and the energy gives him Australian shepherd.
He's got some Jackson in him.
He's got Australian shepherd vibes, okay? So I think that he's going to be good. As far as the Pete Carroll thing, I respect the old man on old man game, the take. But you can't tell me that wasn't what Pete Carroll was doing. Like,
it was smelly.
Yeah, like, it's, as Joe would say, smelly! I can't believe I'm sniffing the Zolak microphone with everything going on right now.
You're brave. You're very brave.
Look at me go. If I start growing a third head and have COVID next week, we know why. But yeah, I want to believe that everyone is an inherently good person, but I don't feel that way. And I love Pete Carroll. I think he's the most handsome man alive. And I want to say, no, he's a good guy. It kind of makes me like him more. I can't even lie to you guys. Let's go to Ryan in Fort Lauderdale. Ryan from Twitter. What's up, Ryan?
That would be me. How you doing, Kendra?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm doing okay. It's been overall a good week, but what kind of got me down, a little bit of a muse, as the segment you were just doing. Yeah. As a Mets fan, it kind of stinks just watching Pete go like that. I know it's a business, and I'm happy he got his bag, but, I haven't felt this kind of way since, kind of Brady left, the Pats. It's just...
How are you a Pats and a Mets fan?
Well, here's the thing. I'm born in New York from my mom's side, and my stepdad is from Boston, Sharon. So that's how I got that.
Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah.
Well, I was surprised by the Pete Alonso thing just because I thought that Baltimore just kind of was out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah. I was surprised. It was like like the day before he signed, I heard some rumors about it, and then all of a sudden they sweep him right in. And, stinks for the Red Sox side, too, because it's a division opponent, and just let them go there. Eventually they're going to get better. They had a terrible season this year, but, I still think they got plenty of talent, and just let them go like that, not even make them kind of an offer.
Yeah.
The way they did. It's just, Boston, it's a big market team. They're not a small market team, John Henry. What are you doing?
It's true. I agree. Thanks so much for the call, Ryan. I'm sure I will talk to you on Twitter before the weekend is over. I was just surprised that that's where he decided to go out of anywhere. Like he said, good for him for getting his bag. I guess you're sticking it to the Red Sox for not shelling out by having him play for the Orioles, but I just don't know what the Red Sox are doing. We had some stuff in our notes to chat about the Red Sox. Maybe we can get to that before the night ends, but let's go to Joe in Medford. What's up, Joe in Medford?
Hey, Kendra, what's going on?
Oh, just filling in for Joe.
Hey, you're doing a great job. Hey, I just wanted to follow up. I called you guys back in August before the season started. You were on with Joe in August. I said the Pats were going to get 7 wins.
Yeah, you named my shrimp.
Yep. I named your shrimp.
Homer Shrimpson.
That was great.
What's up, my guy?
Yeah, you're filling in tonight. I just want to let you know we set the record that night for the most Joes on the Joe Show. Joe was telling me your middle name is actually Joe.
My middle name is Joe, so it was like a Joe triangle between the three of us.
Yeah, and Street Team Joe was there that night.
Oh, yeah.
So
wow.
Technically, we set the record for the most Joes on the Joe Murray Show, 4 Joes at once on the show. It was great. You had to be there. It was awesome.
You did have to be there. Thanks so much for calling. We'll have to try and break that record again sometime now that Joe Street Team Joe is with us. I love that guy.
Yes, he has become somewhat of a, I don't want to call him a staple because he calls
He's a notorious caller.
Infrequently, but when he calls in, he always delivers.
Oh my gosh. I literally have a shrimp named Homer because of him.
Like he had that right away when you asked him for it.
Yes, he's my king. I love, what do we call, there's so many Joes. Is it, or just
he is Beer Joe, but I don't think it's beer. Is his vice when he's calling in.
Oh no. Well, that's what I was on the morning show this morning, and they were kind of talking about the vibe of the show. I was like, do I just pop a gummy for this show? Like, I feel like that is the vibe of the Joe Show.
It's a freewheeling program.
I was gonna say we're all free spirits here.
Yes.
We're all just hanging out, having fun, bonding at night. What a time to be alive. I know I told you what I wanted to talk about here, but now that Joe in Medford called in, I'm just kind of stuck on the fact that I love him. What did we want to talk about here? I forgot.
I think we were going to go around the NFL.
Yes, we were going to go around the NFL. Do we have any NFL music?
Yes,
Can we get the NFL theme?
Give me one moment.
We can do this. I know that I have the gambling show in the morning, so I'm not going to really get into the gambling piece of things. More so just like the big games that kind of mean a lot for division stuff this week. The Chargers and the Chiefs game. I think that this and the Bills and Patriots, obviously, no questions asked, the games of the week, right? Especially because the AFC is such a dumpster fire. I do not know if there is a more... Would you consider the AFC West or the NFC North or the AFC North the most competitive division in football right now? I guess you could say the NFC West, too. Like, holy crap. What is the most competitive division in the NFL right now?
I would lean AFC and NFC West, I think.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Like, I think when the Chiefs are the third-place team in your division, it's hard to say that that's not the best division in football.
So, for me, I think that this is a Chiefs game, right? Like, we watched the Chargers just kind of low-key look like a shell of themselves last week, despite the outcome of that game. Like, their offensive line is decimated. You can tell Herbert is hurting. Don't even get me started on the Laura Rutledge thing. I think that as straight edge as that man is, you can't tell me that he's that much of a straight edge if he went to Oregon. Like, give that man some pain meds. I was honestly more impressed that we didn't see Trey Lance at all. Like, the fact that they had him taking reps with the ones I expected, maybe some sort of goal line something, but Justin Herbert toughed it out. I think this is a Chiefs week, though. Like, Patrick Mahomes, same situation with Josh Allen. Like, not as comparable. Patrick Mahomes' back is way more up against that wall. And they've played a lot of games over the last couple seasons. Lots and lots of games. And, Chris Jones, old. Like, their bodies have got to be feeling this. Travis Kelce, old. Man, does he need to retire. Like, bad. But I think that this comes up Chiefs. I don't even want to talk about the gambling piece because we're going to do that tomorrow morning, but this has to be a Chiefs game. Like, I don't trust the Chargers in big situations. There's a reason that Justin Herbert is this far into his career and can't win a playoff game. This is a playoff game for Patrick Mahomes. And I don't trust Justin Herbert in those situations. So much so, like I said, I wasn't going to talk about the gambling thing, but I'm going to. I have a future on the Chargers preseason, like plus 130 to make the postseason. I didn't put anything past the Chargers in that. They just have to make the postseason because you know why? Justin Herbert has negative clutch gene. It's just the way it is. Negative clutch gene. Talked about the Bills-Patriots. Ravens-Bengals, probably the third most important game to me this weekend. At this point, how much do you think of a swing it is for the Steelers to not have TJ Watt now? Because, like, the Dolphins, obviously not the season that they expected. Although the fact that they got better without Tyreek Hill is impressive. Ollie Gordon kind of coming into his own. That's a great shout for them. But this division changes a lot now. Like, I get that the Bengals had to win out last week, but if they can get some help, like, are they mathematically eliminated? I think that they would really need some help if I remember looking into this. But what a game that this is going to be. I have the Bengals tomorrow. Lamar Jackson is not 100%. I think they're getting healthier based off of the injury report that I saw for them. But I'm going to be on the Bengals the rest of the way, especially with Joe Burrow as a dog. Like, anytime that happens, give me the Bengals. Probably the third best game of the week. Kenny Pickett starting for the Raiders. I kind of love that, to be honest. Going against your former team, always have to love a look there. Doesn't really mean a whole lot. Probably an Eagles get-right game. The number is massive, though. Commanders, Giants, gross. The Lions and the Rams. I don't know if I want to say that this is probably more important than the Bengals and Ravens game. I'm going to go with no just because of the quarterback postseason matchup that we've been harping on all night. So I'll say that this is probably my fourth most important game. The Rams are a juggernaut, man. And I've been on the Rams since the preseason. I thought that they were going to come out here, kick butt, and take names. Like I said earlier, as much as we would love for Drake May to be MVP here, I don't see how anybody takes it away from Matt Stafford. His numbers are better. He's old. He'll never have another chance. They're going to look at it like Drake May has got more potential to, get an MVP, get a Super Bowl out of him. That being said, the Lions need to make some things happen. And Dan Campbell might be a dummy. And the Brian Branch situation is a struggle for sure. But I don't know if I want to play a Lions team that is just desperate. Absolutely desperate. And the thing is, the Rams don't really have a home field advantage. Like, I expect there to probably be more Lions fans than Rams fans. And it's crazy that the Rams keep winning these games on the road, at home, doesn't matter, with no real fans. No real fans. Like, that's impressive. The Rams are fun, but this Lions team, you guys know I love a cornered cat. Pun intended. The Panthers, my sad cats, meow, meow, meow. Divisional matchup against the Saints. I think Tyler Shuck is the real deal. I think he's going to be a good quarterback in the NFL. I've seen what I needed to see. Kellen Moore should have been the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. He should have been a head coach sooner. Justice for Kellen Moore. I get the Chargers situation worked out a lot better with Harbaugh, and that's probably who you would take in that situation if you're a Chargers fan over Kellen Moore, but I think he got snubbed for that job. I think he got snubbed for the Cowboys job. I always want to cheer for the Saints. I don't know what it is. I love the NFC South except for the Bucs. I don't know what it is. Just a misfit division makes me love it so much more. My sad cats, I'm cheering for them. Meow. Packers Broncos. People are saying that this is a big game. I don't really think so. It's a big game for the Packers. I'd probably be on the Packers if I'm a gambling woman, which I am. But it's the easiest spot to fade the Broncos. But the last time I said it was the easiest spot to fade the Broncos, I got. So I feel like that's hard for me to do. Obviously, we talked about the Phillip Rivers thing. Holy crap! I think the thing is that we talked about this earlier. I'm trying not to do the gambling thing, but it's hard. This is what I meant when I said that the gambling stuff is just ingrained in our brains. This is the future. This is how we're going to talk about things now. It's never going to be, who do we think is going to win? It's going to be like, well, do you think Phillip Rivers can cover 14 points? Like, that's the conversation now. I hate to say it. Like, it's so hard to stay away from it. It's just what it's become. I don't know. Imagine if Phillip Rivers goes out there and beats the Seahawks, though. Just a team that's been on an absolute ripper this year. And then the other important game, there isn't really one. I think that's it. Like, important games, big weekend for the AFC. Huge weekend for the AFC. They say after November, that's when you really got to start paying attention to people. The AFC North, man, that's just where all of my attention's at. That's the storyline. I guess the AFC West, too, but I don't think the Chiefs can come back from this. What do you guys think? Who's going to win the AFC North? Tweet me, call me, beat me. If you want to reach me, tweet me, beat me. I don't know. Does anybody have pagers anymore? I remember Palm Pilots. Do you remember Skaz, do you remember Palm Pilots?
Very, very vaguely, but I do remember the Palm Pilot.
I remember my dad having a Palm Pilot. I'm pretty sure he was using it to get girls.
Don't love that. Do you remember the walkie-talkie phones? Those things were brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, every construction guy in the world had those.
Yeah, talk about a blue collar phone.
Were constantly going off.
Yeah. That was my first. Do you remember the Fireflies? Like the phones that could only call 5 people?
They were for kids.
Yeah,
much,
I had
right?
one. That was my first phone. I could call my babysitter, my brother, my dad, and my mom, and my brother's girlfriend. Because shout out to my brother's girlfriend. They've been together since I was 5 years old. The most disgustingly in love people I've ever met in my life. Like, genuinely.
What a shame.
Middle school sweethearts. Middle school.
Gross.
And she's my best friend. It's that's so insane. So yeah, I could call those 5 people. But then my real first phone was one of the Nextel walkie-talkies. And I used to chew on the antenna in the car.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
I would have been shocked if you didn't.
I don't know where I was going with that. I don't know where I was going with that. Anyways.
Are you at all scared for your Jags this weekend?
I'm scared for the Jags all the time. People are always like, why you hate on the Jags? Why are you so doubtful? Why do you hate the Patriots? Why are you so down on everything all the time? I have suffered as a sports fan my entire life, specifically football. I have never felt joy. I was born at Baptist Hospital into a Jacksonville Jaguars onesie. I was destined to hate my life. That's why. Okay, when we come back, we're going to talk about Christmas. So if you want to call in, tell us your favorite Christmas movie, song, tradition, meal. If you have gift guide questions, Skaz said we should do that because I'm a girl and you're guys listening. If you want to know what to get your girl, 617-779-0985. You're listening to the Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5.
The Joe Show. I'm sad that our time together is coming to a close soon. We got 2 more segments. It's weird because like on Saturdays it's me and a producer, but I feel like that having the YouTube just makes it more communal. Like we don't have YouTube on Saturday morning, so the fact that I'm hanging out with people who are actually like interacting with me in real time just makes it, it's a bonding experience. We're all friends. But I told you guys before the break we were going to close out with some Christmas stuff. We're going to have intern River with us for the final segment. So he's going to be around for that. But I want to talk about some Christmas stuff. And if River wants to chime in, he can. That's all chill with me. Christmas is full of traditions, right? Like when you go to Christmas every single year or any holiday, like you know that you're going to get like some drama. You're going to get some old family tea because Aunt Linda is going to be mad that so-and-so didn't bring this or, didn't call her for her birthday or whatever. And with the chaos comes tradition. And we're on the Joe Show. It's late night. We're all friends here. I can talk about how my family, super insane, super broken, crazy. My dad's married to my aunt. Insane family lore in the Middleton household. So we don't have like the traditional like holidays or like family unit thing, but my dad's side of the family has been eating chicken curry at Christmas since the Great Depression. And you're probably like, you're white. Yes. I'm also from the Deep South. And when I say my family's been making chicken curry, they make the like chicken and the rice with the sauce. But our toppings for chicken curry is where it gets absolutely unhinged and insane. We do chicken curry topped with raisins, boiled eggs, peanuts, and green onions. And my family has been eating this meal every Christmas since the Great Depression. So I'm challenging everyone out there to call me and tell me if you have a weirder, and don't call me and be like, yeah, my family hides a pickle in the Christmas tree. No, I want the most unhinged things that have happened at your Thanksgiving, your Christmas tradition. I want the drama. I want the tea. I want the unhinged. I want chaos.
Can you just repeat those toppings again for me one time?
Raisins, boiled eggs.
No.
Peanuts and green onions.
Yeah, your family's aware the Great Depression isn't still going on, right?
I mean, low-key, it kind of is.
And we're back. We're back there.
We're so back.
Yeah.
No, but like, I mean, it sounds insane, but it's honestly so good. Like, I know that it sounds insane, but it's so good. But could you honestly name 1, something more Kendra lore, or 2, something more redneck Jacksonville white trash than that? Like, I challenge you to. There's no way. What do you guys eat for Christmas, Gas?
Growing up, it would be like a lasagna. Probably my dad would make lasagna. We do like a ham or something. We probably did the 7 fishes like once or twice in my life. We're not really a huge traditions family. My sister was like a huge steak fan growing up, so my dad would always just grill steaks, anything to keep us happy, pretty much. Just whatever we weren't going to bother him with.
No
if he knew we were
going
to eat
curry.
it. I cannot say that boiled eggs on chicken curry were
It's so good. I know. I know. And anytime we were the house where like misfits, like if you didn't have, like if you weren't traveling or you had to work or you couldn't get home or you like had a broken family or whatever, that was always like my household. So when we were like, listen, you can come over, but just know, like, this is what we eat. People would be like, I don't know, fam, I might be out on that. And then they'd eat it and they'd be like, you know what? I'm in. And the fact that my sister-in-law, who I mentioned, has been in my life since I was 5 years old, literally like suffers through the holidays with my family so she can have that meal. I'm not even kidding. Like, could you imagine me being here and sitting here and being like, yeah, you're going to have to suffer through my family, but you're going to get this awesome meal. It's chicken curry with raisins and boiled eggs. You'd be like, no.
I mean, yeah, I'm a man in my early 30s. I've done holidays at places, girlfriends at the time or friends at the time or whatever. I've eaten some meals I didn't want to eat. I can't say there were ever boiled eggs, peanuts, and curry and raisins involved. I just they were never quite to that length.
My dad also, I think, puts like my dad and I don't really talk, But my sister-in-law knows that when that time comes, I don't want anything. I know I'm not getting anything. But I need her to get that recipe because I think that I've got it down from like waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning on Christmas to help my dad make this meal every year. I think that I remember exactly how it goes. But I told my sister-in-law, I don't want anything. I want nothing but that recipe when that time comes.
I'm almost tempted to have you bring this in for one James Stewart on Christmas Eve and have him try it.
Is he a picky? He gives picky eater energy though.
Yeah, I don't know about Stu.
Are you a picky eater?
Not right. I have allergy restrictions, but no, I eat just about anything I'm able to eat. Yeah, but
are you a picky eater?
Not really. No, I would not consider myself at all a picky.
Would
eater.
you try raisin curry?
I would try it. I can't guarantee you that I'll like it, but I will give it a try.
Do you like chicken curry?
Well, what type of chicken curry are we talking about?
It's red curry.
Red curry. Okay, is that like the Indian chicken curry?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No. I love that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We just have weird topics. Do you have any weird family traditions?
Not that I can think of.
River, you're from Vermont. Don't lie.
Yeah, I can't really think of any. Honestly, I mean, we usually do the same thing every Christmas. We usually just hang out, open presents, and then for dinner we'll just do ham, mashed potatoes, asparagus. Usually something pretty simple. Family. Sometimes the grandparents come up, but nothing too crazy. It's usually pretty intimate gathering.
Another insane thing that my family does, and if you're a parent, I'm about to rock your world. When I was a little kid, my parents would set up like this thing outside where you would walk out when you're a little kid, and it looked like reindeer had eaten the hay and the carrots and pooped everywhere. And my dad walked out one morning and ate one of the deer poops. And I was like, no way. No, there's no, like my dad would eat minnows out of the lake. Like my dad would eat anything for a laugh. And my dad picked up one of the reindeer poops off the ground and ate it. And I thought that was just like earth shattering to me. Come to find out, if you buy Tootsie Rolls and put them in the microwave for a couple seconds and roll them up, you can leave hay and carrots and rolled up Tootsie Pop rolls outside to look like deer poop for your kids. Genius.
I mean, the way the first half of that story was going, I was hoping it was Tootsie Rolls, but I wasn't sure.
I do remember distinctly being in Georgia one time, like southern Georgia, because that's where my dad's family is originally from, and us swimming in not even a creek somewhere, and my dad eating a minnow for show. And so the deer poop was traumatizing to me, but I was like, this is so fitting.
He's an entertainer.
Yeah.
Can I just ask why he decided to eat a minnow?
Because he thought it would gross me out.
He thought it was funny.
Yeah. Dude, this man's entire MO for me growing up was like, how can I traumatize this child in the weirdest ways? I didn't know. You know, like the breakfast sausage patties that are just like, you get them on like a sandwich or whatever.
Like a Jimmy Dean's or whatever.
My dad, until I was uncomfortably old, he taught me that those were lizard. He would tell me like at a restaurant to order lizard. So we'd go to like Cracker Barrel, and I would order eggs and lizard. And my dad would have to like pretend he would go to the bathroom and tell the waitress, because she'd be like, "What do you mean you want lizard? Like we don't sell that." And my dad would be like, "Oh yeah, you do." And so it would come out, and I'd be like, "Yeah, I got my lizard. Like it's great."
The more we learn about Kendra, the more it all makes sense. It's putting the pieces of the puzzle together.
So until I was probably like 8, I did not know that breakfast sausage was pork. I thought it was lizard.
It must have been such a relief for you.
I did. I think the only time I ever got in trouble at school, this is rather fitting, the only time I ever think I got in trouble at school was I came back from recess with 2 lizards clipped to my ears like earrings. So I don't even know if it was like a relief for me, because I would literally just like force the lizard to like clamp onto my ear and run around. So
that might be the most Florida thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. I don't know. I bet the most Florida thing about me would be probably that I was like, I killed my first snake at like 5.
Very Florida.
Yeah.
That could be like Maine or New Hampshire as well, though. Maybe.
No. Okay. So the first thing I looked up when I moved here was if there were any poisonous snakes up here. And there is only one poisonous snake in all of like this region. And it's like a rattlesnake that lives up in the White Mountains somewhere. So like, I don't even think it's that.
I do know that, like, I do know in like a few parts of Vermont they have some rattlesnakes, but it's very, very few and far between. It's not
it's just
something
way
you really,
too cold.
Yeah, it's not something. It's the least of your concerns if you're living in Vermont. Yeah, to say the least.
Yeah, I wonder if pythons are becoming an issue up here the same way they are in Florida. They have like python hunting like contests. Oh no, we just had a caller and they dropped off. If you want to call back, 617-779-0985. I was just about to take your call. Let's hit a headline here. When we come back, we can get to more Christmas chatter or anything you want. Final segment here on the Sports Hub. 617-779-0985. Give us a call.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Patriots coming off a bye week this week. They will host the Buffalo Bills Sunday at 1 p.m. The Pats look to extend their win streak to 11 games. Milton Williams, Will Campbell, Jared Wilson, and Terrell Jennings are all out. Robert Spillane questionable.
Welcome back to the Joe Show. Kendra Middleton here with you for one final segment. I'm kind of emotional. I'm like getting sad that this is coming to an end. I've had so much fun yapping with you guys. I don't know how I missed the Quinn Hughes being traded to Minnesota beat. I feel like that should have been like a breaking news sounder. That would have been perfect for when we had Sara Civian on, because in the hockey world, this is crazy. Like, this is massive. And if you look at the NHL I will get to you on the phones in just 1 second, but if you look at the NHL standings, I'm proud of the Wild for making a run. Like, they're competing with the big dogs. And if you're going to compete with the big dogs, you got to make big moves. Like, if you're going to beat out the Stars, or if you're going to beat out the Avalanche or whatever, good for the Minnesota Wild. I like this for them. Like I said, I missed this. I don't know what they gave up. To be quite frank, I probably don't really care, as long as it's obviously not Kaprizov, which they are not going to do. But good for the Wild. Like, go for it. Balls to the wall. I'm in. I don't know how I missed this earlier in our Slack channel, but Quinn Hughes to the Minnesota Wild. Not sure on the return. If I had a couple extra seconds, I probably should have. Do you got it?
The Canucks will receive Zeev Boom, who was their first round pick last year, I believe, from the Wild. Marco Rossi, who's a very good player Bruins were interested in. Liam Ogrum, and a first round pick.
Cool. Fine. Yeah. In. Good for the Minnesota Wild. Let's check in with Hal. What is up, Hal? How we doing?
Yes, thank you for taking my call, Kendra. Having gone to the University of New Hampshire myself many years ago, I was interested in how it came about that you have transferred up there to go to school up there. I was wondering just how that all came about, if you're able to, at liberty to talk about that at all.
Of course I am. Thanks so much for calling in, Hal. I love that call. I actually wound up at UNH in a weird way. Like you guys know, I don't know. Why is this drop not working tonight? I don't know. So I obviously lived in Auburn for 2 years, transferred to UNH. I wanted to be in New England my entire childhood. This is probably rather long-winded, but we've got the time. Why not? I have known that I wanted to do exactly what I'm doing right now since I was in the 5th grade. I can tell you the exact moment that it happened. I went to marine science camp every summer. I was one of those nerds. I applied to go to like an educational summer camp. And my dad was taking me to the bus stop for summer camp early in the morning. And I was listening to 1010XL in Jacksonville, Florida. I was listening to Prosser. And they were doing a flower giveaway for a local flower shop in Jacksonville. And you had to answer trivia on the World Cup to get this gift card. It was probably like around Mother's Day or something, I would assume, and you could, buy your mom or your girlfriend or your wife or whatever flowers. Time and time again, these old men kept calling in to 1010 and getting all of these soccer questions wrong. And my first love, other than football, was soccer. I was such a soccer dork. I thought Adnan Januzaj, if you know who that is, power points to you, because holy crap. But he was like my god, okay? I loved soccer as a kid. And it was driving me nuts that all these guys kept calling in and getting the answers wrong. So my dad throws the phone to me across the car and says, all right, smart ass, call in. So I called in, got all the answers right, and won my mom a flower gift card. And there was not a ton of female representation back then, so I didn't even know that it was an option for me to, fall in love with sports radio and wind up working here. And so that was kind of like my aha moment. And I knew that if I wanted to get in football and stay in football as I got older, I probably needed to stay in the SEC. But then in the SEC, I fell in love opening the penalty box for a D3 Auburn Tigers hockey team. Fell in love with hockey and didn't know if I wanted to do football or hockey. And so I always wanted to wind up in New England because it is the best market for sports, right? Like, it has been since I was a little kid, ever since that Super Bowl with the Patriots and the Eagles. Like, that's how it's been. It's been the town for sports. And I knew I wanted to wind up here eventually. I was dating a boy from up here. He was graduating, didn't have a job. And going to, UNH when he was going to be closer to the job that he wound up getting and paying, to live in New Hampshire as opposed to going to BC or BU, who BC obviously has football and hockey, super expensive to live around and go to BC. BU, no football. UNH has, whether you want to believe it or not, statistically one of the most successful D1 football programs of all time. Shout out Coach Mack. Go Cats. Coach Mack's the man. I cannot wait for that stadium to be Sean McDonald Stadium. And so my, UNH paperwork transfer started. It was where I made the decision because I thought whether I wanted to do football or hockey. Hockey East, a good football program, I could do both. And so it made the most sense for me to not pay Boston prices, go to UNH, save some money, do the thing. Long-winded, that's how I wound up at UNH. I went from interning in radio in San Francisco to Auburn. And then I moved up here. My junior year, got into the TV thing. Like the TV thing, I love radio more. I love showing up in sweatpants and yapping with you guys for 4 hours instead of standing on the sidelines and being like, how did that make you feel? So sorry that I fell in love with radio and not TV, and you guys are stuck with me for 4 hours and not 40 seconds. So that was how I wound up at UNH. How did you wind up at your school, River?
Yeah, so I think the big thing for me. So let's see. I would have been starting the process in 2021. I think is when I started to look at school. So I go to a small school, Springfield College, and I was really interested, and still am interested in sports journalism. So I decided that I wanted to find a school with sports journalism, and here at Springfield College, they have a program called Communications/Sports Journalism. And I remember I applied to the program, and I remember I actually got a text from one of my professors, Kyle Belanger. He no longer works there, but he worked there at the time. And he shot me a text and was like, hey, River, I see that you applied, to the major at, Springfield College. Let me know if you have any questions. And I was like, oh, that's nice, reaching out, that's nice. And then after that, he started to reach out more. Like, he started scheduling phone calls with myself, my parents. He set up a shadow day. And I think a big reason why I went there is because I could really tell they wanted me there. Mm-hmm. Like, a lot of the other schools are like, oh, you're accepted. Congratulations. Here's a, tiny little chunk of scholarship money, come if you want. At Springfield, it really felt like they really, really wanted me to come, did the shadow day. I liked all the professors. I was really interested in, in more specifically journalism at the time. So just kind of made the most sense.
Being wanted is nice.
Yeah, no, it really is. And so I think that's a big reason why I ended up at, at where I am. And it's been 3.5 years, and I have zero regrets in terms of the decision I made.
Except for the cold water.
Yes, yes, except for the cold water, and sometimes the dorms aren't the nicest. But that's also what you're going to get at a small D3 school too. It's not going to be as nice as Auburn or even UNH. It's just that's just par for the course.
Yeah, when I was at Auburn, athletes could just write their name and their sport on the back of their test and leave. So.
Yeah.
Skaz, where'd you go to school? How'd you wind up there?
I went to Bridgewater State. I ended up
Yes.
there.
Wait, is that where Jordan Hudson went?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, Jordan Hudson, the Jeremy Conley, also a Bridgewater State alum. I ended up there kind of by accident. I didn't apply there. Something got messed up. I was supposed to go to UMass Dartmouth. Actually had an issue where my date of birth on my Social Security was wrong or something like that. Yeah, it was so I didn't end up getting any financial aid that I was supposed to receive. So I had to, at the very last minute, pivot to Bridgewater State. Yeah, so I went there, history and education degree that I don't use, and then went to the wonderful Connecticut School of Broadcasting post that. So yeah, all around, just to end up here. From UNH to Springfield to Bridgewater.
I can't believe that you are you're more famous than Jordan Hudson to me.
Certainly not. She's a real estate mogul.
She is a real estate mogul. Who was it that calls into to Zolek and Bertrand who went all the way to P-Town to go to, it was one of our big callers. I don't remember if it was Ryan or somebody, but they drove to P-Town to go to the sex shop that her mom runs.
I mean, that's journalism right there. That's the highest form. River, you hear that?
I do.
That's chasing a story there.
That's what I got to model my game after.
Yes, yeah. Persistence.
Yeah.
I don't hate the look. If I were that invested, I kind of want to drive to P-Town to do that. It's the off season. Are they still open?
I mean, you got to make money, right? It's a business. Yeah, around the holidays, maybe you're buying something for that special someone.
I'm surprised Pablo Torre didn't go.
Well, that's a good point. There's a guy who had an interesting week this week as well.
That feels like something Pablo Torre would do. I can't wait for them to go to court. That's going to be so good. Also, her posting her credential online is seriously crazy.
You've never done that, Kendra? That's not the first thing you did when you got your first credential? You didn't just take a picture of it and post it to the internet?
That's like the number one thing they tell you not to do.
Literally the first thing I ever learned. One of the few things I did learn, but that was one of them.
Yeah, that's like rule number one of like any kind of privileges. Don't post your credentials. Like the Woo Sox sent us all credentials here, and I wanted to like post a picture and thank them, but I'm like, I can't post this credential. Like they'll never invite me back ever again, like ever. And I love the Woo Sox. So you know what, Worcester's an underrated town. You're from right outside Worcester, yeah?
Myself?
Yeah.
Well, I go to school in Springfield.
Yeah, but you're from like right outside Worcester, right?
I'm from Vermont.
Oh, never mind.
a little